Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.
It's a shame I gotta have reading glasses. That is just such a
I can't see.
Don't even get me started on that.
It's the worst.
It's terrible.
Having reading glasses is the worst, and I fought it for so long, and then like my vision went off a cliff. Like it was good. I was struggling for so long, but I was making it manage. I woke up one day, I'm like, I can't see shit. I went from like not really kind of needing them to like needing like a 2.25 or something. It was ridiculous.
Can you not see far away though, or just close up?
I'm nearsighted.
Okay, so I'm blind far away.
Yeah,
and now
me
I'm
too.
blind close up too.
Yeah, we're
so
screwed.
I'm mid-range. I can only see mid-range. It's horrible.
It's kind of like music, right? Your low end and your high end's all burned out. All you hear is mid-range. It's the worst.
You never wore earplugs? I wet paper towel and put them in my ears. That's
Is that
how
what you do?
Yeah. It works really good.
But earplugs became a thing like 10 years ago. Before that, who thought of earplugs, right? I mean, in the 90s
man, I'll tell
or
you.
I mean,
You ever go see like a death metal band?
I have done that, yes.
And then you have earplugs on and your ears are still bleeding.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
bad.
ringing for days.
Yeah, death metal will do that. Yes, I actually, okay, it's funny you said that. Cannibal Corpse, some band called Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
we
totally
made
know
guitars
them.
for them. Yeah,
okay.
The guitar player, whatever his name was back then. And it wasn't my thing. And I went to this show in Chicago. I mean, I thought I'd seen some heavy metal in my life. Man, that was just like... and here I am, like the idiot. I got like a Ralph Lauren shirt on, and jeans, and I got my briefcase. I'm doing business.
Look at that guy.
I'm doing business.
Look at that guy.
And I'd never seen a mosh pit up close until like that era.
Really?
It was like 2006.
Really?
Yeah, and we gave Scott Ian that guitar of Anthrax, and the night before there was a mosh pit at the House of Blues Chicago, and I'm like up on the balcony watching this. It was crazy. Keanu Reeves was there because he's friends with the band, and it was really cool. But there was Keanu Reeves in the mosh pit, like beating up people, and she was nuts. Neo's down there just killing people. But then the next night, we saw this Cannibal Corpse in a little small, shitty place, and people were like picking up chairs, beating each other with it. It was like, you gotta be kidding me! This is fun.
That was
on a
fun,
Friday
man.
night.
That was fun.
How is that fun?
Oh man,
I consider myself relatively hip, but that is just
it's insane.
Yeah,
I was in many mosh pits in my day.
Really? So
oh,
you did all
man.
that?
Were you the one that had to go on
Dude,
the top?
like I was like doing flips off the stage. My dad would be like, "You're not going in those pits, are you?"
You gotta be kidding me,
dude. Yeah.
Really? That was you?
Back in the 90s.
Oh, this is gonna be
long
good.
time ago.
This is gonna be good.
Dude.
Okay. I don't know where we're going to end up exactly, but I'm very glad that you're all here. Thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so how is everybody? It's been an interesting year.
Happy shit's happening again.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
You think it's opening up?
I think so. I think we found some alternative ways to entertain ourselves in the past year.
Like what? What do you mean?
Listening to podcasts.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, fantastic. I got to hand it to you. That was a good answer, Dave. How about you over there?
Good, yeah. I don't have to wear a mask going into sheets, so I'm good now. But I know things are getting better at that point.
How'd you entertain yourself, though?
5 and a 2-year-old. Yeah, that was how I entertained myself. But that's how I tried to stay. I tried to keep the little sanity I had left, essentially, with those two. Whenever things got locked down and you're like, all right, I'm home with these savages.
Now, all of you have children in school, right? So you all went through the past year. How did that go? Because I don't have children. Well, my daughter was a senior this year, so that you can imagine how that went. But she's fine.
You're like, because I don't have children, but my daughter's a senior. So he doesn't. I don't know. You better.
I have kids. I'm saying I don't have younger children.
He doesn't have like a kid in a bassinet
I know,
or anything.
Yeah.
No, I only used to date women with kids in the bassinets. Yes, that is true.
That's funny.
That is true. We can go there, but I am curious when I have guests on who have children in school, really, whether it's grade school, whether it's junior high, and even senior high. How was it like, especially with younger children, like getting them to do virtual schooling? I can't even imagine.
Are you asking a
All
certain
of you.
person?
I'm asking all of you.
Do you want me to go first?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yes, you.
Okay. So last year, when they had to go virtual, I was like, there's no way I'm dealing with this next year. So I sat my kids down and I was like, you guys are going to Catholic school because I have to be at work. Like, I can't work from home.
Got it.
And they cried. And there were tears.
Can you blame them?
And they were very upset. But honestly, my kids went to school all year round. They wore masks, no problems. They played basketball, soccer. They got the best education they could ever ask for.
They have nuns
and
there?
like,
The
no,
nuns
they
still
don't.
teach?
I used to go to Catholic school. So I know, like, no nuns, but no, it's a good experience. And my kids really honestly didn't miss a beat, and they're happy kids.
Good.
And
Good.
it was probably the best decision I ever made.
Good.
So, yeah.
What about you?
Oh, my oldest kid was in preschool. They were open year round, so I didn't have to do any at-home
So
teaching.
you had nothing.
So no, he only gets the life lessons off the cuff whenever we're at home. So I didn't have to go through the virtual learning. And
You lucked out because I know preschoolers in different municipalities and school districts that had to do that.
yeah, good luck with that. Good luck getting a preschooler to sit down and watch.
What do they call it, pre-K? Like, was there a difference between preschool and in kindergarten and pre-K? Is that all? How's that work?
Pre-K is pretty much the same as like preschool, whatever. I mean, so they didn't have to, like, they stayed open the whole time. We didn't have to do any virtual stuff. But I know, like, there's no way you could sit a 4-year-old kid down in front of a computer screen and have him watch, hey, here's how we're going to count to 30, or here's how we're going to learn our ABCs. It's not happening.
Are you serious? They don't sit still for that?
I can't sit still for that. I couldn't sit still at a computer screen and count to 30. It's not going to happen.
Now what age are yours?
Mine are 8 and 11.
Oh, you're just a prime age for this.
Well,
then.
the 11-year-old was tough because his math was like real challenging to me. So there's a lot of Googling and things like that. Yeah, I didn't love it. I was also working full time, and I, at the time, lived alone with my kids. So, I'd have them wherever during the day, and then usually daycare. And then I would come home from work, and then we'd get to embark on the schooling, which was actually wonderful. And it was just, the whole thing was crazy. I have a whole new respect for teachers, that's for sure.
Agreed.
Because you generally don't have a lot of patience. Like, I have not as much patience with my own children as I do with other people's. And they didn't have as much patience with me as their teacher either. So.
I could have absolutely no idea what it would have been like if my children were of that age, knowing my children and having me, the dad that knows, that barely graduated high school, sit down with them and have to do even 6th, 8th grade math.
It's different now, too. It's not the same math as...
Yeah, that ain't happening.
My kids had one virtual day, and it was hilarious. Like, the teacher was like, all the kids are like walking their pads around the house. Look at my Christmas tree. Look at that. Like, it was, the teacher's like, okay, now let's get back to class, and look at my cat. Look at my dog.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah,
I know, it's hysterical.
It was crazy.
Are they right now, as it sits, are your kids back full time, or is it like,
I moved in the middle of all this, so my kids were like all virtual, and I moved to a different district, which was also virtual at the time.
Okay.
And then finally they started going back, and they started going back 4 days a week.
Okay.
Which was a godsend.
And you? The whole time they were
the whole time, yep.
I'm Catholics, man.
Yeah,
They
well,
didn't want to play
hardcore,
that shit.
man.
Hardcore.
Hey, you're paying for the education. They better be in school.
On the broader sense of that, though, but that's a good question, because when COVID started, I have some friends who have children that were going into their first year, their freshman year of college. And some of them were going to some hoity-toity schools that were costing my friends, their parents, a shit ton of money. And I just sat back and kind of watched. Because in my little pea brain, I figured, isn't this fascinating? I can get like a Udemy subscription online or masterclass subscription for like $19 a year and $9 a class and have these professors teach me anything I want. Yet there's a kid going to Carnegie Mellon who's going to have a teacher pre-record a lecture, put it up online that they're going to watch on an iPad, and they're probably paying, I don't know, $3,700 a credit down there or whatever it is. I mean, to me, doesn't that seem somehow like a ripoff?
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure. I think, yeah.
I'm not saying college is ripoff. I'm saying in this circumstance where they're
because
getting virtual learning. I mean, really?
Well, yeah. Like my assistant went to school for fashion, and she did nothing that she needed to do this year that had to do with fashion because they weren't in class. But yet she's paying full price.
They took the money.
Yeah.
And that's the funny part about it. Now, I understand it's education, but I have a daughter going to Ohio University. I'm happy for her, but it ain't free. And if she had been a year older and having her freshman year, I don't know how I would feel, but it probably wouldn't be very good.
Yeah.
Especially like if your kid's going to Ivy League and you're mortgaging your house to pay for it, and they're sitting with an iPad. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just me. I mean,
Forget the education. What about you're missing out on a year of college experience, like
partying,
just college
man.
life?
Like, what the heck? I'd be like, wow, I'll sit this year out because I want to go to school and get the full experience.
Your room and board is like at the end of your parents, like bed, next door to your parents. That doesn't make sense.
Well, some schools didn't they send kids home? Right? There were some schools that didn't. I think most schools would have sent kids home during this, right?
Not all. Not all.
I don't know how that worked.
My niece was at school. I mean, she went to Geneva, so much like the Catholics, they were all good to go there.
It's like we'll survive this. I don't know.
Just the state schools send their kids home.
Father Murphy said,
we'll make
"No
it
virus
through
ain't gonna
this."
stop anything."
But what surprises me about college and kids, with my profession, I sit down and talk to a lot of people, and these kids have no idea what they're going to make when they get out of school. They don't even see, it's just like, I'm going to school for this. Well, do you know how much you're going to start making? Do you know how much you're going to end making? And do you know how much college, debt you're going to have? And my kids will definitely know, you're going to go to school for something you're going to make a decent living in. Because if you're going to spend all that money, you might as well, I just don't get it.
I fell victim to that. I went to a 4-year school because that's what everybody did.
What did you
I was
major in?
17.
Okay.
My degree, my bachelor's degree, is in classics and ancient Mediterranean studies. I've cleared many a Jeopardy category, I'll have you know.
Well, you're smart.
Could you repeat that for us, please? I want to make sure I got that right.
It's classics and ancient Mediterranean studies. Everybody knows that.
That's kind of funny.
I mean, I had to pick. I was 17. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Not sure what I'm going to do.
I mean, I
went back to college later.
Yeah, and you were like, I got to go to college for something that I'm actually going to
I need an actual job.
I'm going to do.
Yeah, and I get it. If it's a specialized technical, like engineering, mathematics, medical, I get it. Believe me, I totally get it. But for a kid to go to not an Ivy League school, maybe something very close to that, and pay all that money and go for general studies.
Get a liberal arts degree.
Or just, I'm
pottery.
Did you do that too?
No.
Pottery.
With a minor in basket weaving.
I'll tell you what, I was a darn good basket weaver in high school, but I knew not to go.
What do you think over
that.
there?
Well, as far as like the learning college from home, and
I mean, you're in the medical profession. I'm just saying, it's like I get the fact that you want, believe me, you want a doctor who had a medical degree and doesn't have a degree in advanced basket weaving to be operating on you. I get that. But outside of the specialized things in society.
So outside of a lot of that, and even in my career field, we'll call it, so like nursing and stuff like that, I learned very little during my time in college that I applied in real world settings. Like I learned most of what I needed to learn
Nurses
on
like
the
poke
job.
people and stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
you cut people and things.
Not until you get to work. Like, yeah.
So that makes me feel so good.
Yeah. So that's the
That makes me
downside
feel
is
so good.
that's
But
the
he could
downside
use
is like
statistics.
exactly like well no I can't do statistics.
You don't know very well. That might be a reach.
I had the class. I had the class, but I'm not a numbers guy. But no, so there's a lot of stuff that I feel like could be on the job. Like you're going to learn this as you go. This could be on the job training. You don't need to spend, 4 years and $80,000 on this degree. A doctor's a little bit different. Doctors do a lot of on the job training. But no, for
doctors
really,
do on the job training.
Everybody in the medical profession
Everybody
does.
in the medical profession does, yeah.
Like when I work in the medical field too, and people will be like, well, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, I get scared, like they're testing me. Well, you look too young to have been doing it that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you feel like you need to lie and add like 5 years to
I did that at the beginning of my
want them to
career.
trust you.
That's a compliment.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, and hair's the same way.
Oh, for sure.
You're
I was like,
someone's
10
trusting
years.
you, right?
Meanwhile, 2 months out of beauty school. Yeah, 10 years. Sit down. I know what I'm doing. It's true, though. I'm not going to lie. I did that.
On the job training.
but that's what I mean. Like
Everybody's got to learn.
Hey, where's the vein at?
Yeah,
Can you show me?
I spent a lot of time in a classroom, like learning all this shit that I've yet to use in a decade plus. In the healthcare field.
I mean, we want people to be confident when other humans are like
exactly
Work experience makes you confident.
So why aren't you why don't we spend more time in that setting doing things hands on as opposed to sitting in a classroom and watching a 89 slide PowerPoint
I agree.
thing?
It's a great idea.
I
completely agree.
Yeah, like most of I slept through. So I'll be honest. This sounds terrible.
What hospital are you working at? I just want to know.
So this sounds.
When he walks into your room, feel completely confident.
So this sounds terrible. I slept.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I slept through the majority of my degree. Like literally, and I have pictures.
Especially the nursing stuff.
So you could scroll through my Facebook later, and you'll find pictures of me sleeping in just about every nursing class I had.
In your toddler's bed?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Hey nurse, how's my blood pressure?
No, I'm like, but here's the thing.
Right.
So I graduated. I graduated with I graduated with a 3.9. So I graduated like at the top of my class.
Well, you are a genius
Right at the top.
then.
No,
right?
I just didn't. I couldn't sit through a PowerPoint presentation.
I couldn't
and watch like somebody talk at me as they're clicking through slides for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But if I went home and I read the questions where you have to like think things through, I learned better that way. So it's tough to say. I can't sit still through a PowerPoint presentation. I still can't. My son can't. My oldest son can't sit still for 10 minutes. I don't think that's the way to learn. I don't think sitting while someone's talking to you or at you.
Well, all of us have jobs where we're hands-on.
Oh,
None of us are sitting.
Like you have to do those skills.
That's a
like,
good point.
look, you can walk me through when I got into the Army, and the government is great with PowerPoint presentations. They are great with PowerPoint presentations. So I got to one of my first assignments, and I watched a 111. I'm not fucking around. I have a picture of this. 111 slide PowerPoint presentation on how to start an IV. I was like, look, I had like 13 beers last night, and I started an IV on myself this morning before I came here to do this. I'm only sitting here because my IV skills are that good. I do not need to watch a 111 PowerPoint slide. I did it myself. But that's the deal. I'm like, I don't learn that way. I can't watch a PowerPoint presentation and pick things up like that.
With my classics degree, I worked in an office for a while, and it's so boring. People that are in the medical field, like you can't sit, and I'm sure Kristie too. Like you can't sit in a cubicle and work. You're like, this is horrible. I was on the internet half the time.
Yeah, see, that whole dynamic of being in a cube. I left the cube environment in like '94, just when internet started to come around. Like I went into field sales, but I always wonder how would I have done had I continued to work in a cube environment through the beginning of the internet.
Oh,
I would have got fired. I guarantee they would have told me first there was like naked women on the internet. I would have been fired right away.
Your office would have been in the basement.
And when the
and
internet
they would have
first
took
was
your stapler.
when the internet was first a thing in the office, there was no like you could get on any site.
Yeah.
It was a free for all.
So
That's funny.
I was trying to do online shopping one night. Like it was getting close to Christmas time. We're cutting down to the wire, and I'm
because that's what us men do.
That's what we do, like last minute shopping. So I'm in the Army at the time, and any government computer they filter all kinds of shit. So I'm sitting there. It's 2:30. It's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got to get my Christmas shopping done. I have tomorrow. I'm ready to go. I was like, you know what? Like Aaron might like this. I could probably go to like the sporting goods store or this, but I don't have time. Like I'm working night shift. I'm gonna sleep all day tomorrow. I'll just get it from. I'll just go to Dick's and get it. Like I'll order it online. So I'm sitting there at 2:30 in the morning. www.dicks.com.
Oh, geez.
So what do you think pops up? It's like, so my ID card is in the computer to unlock it, so they know exactly who did it. And I was like, it filtered it out. It's like, pornography's not allowed on this computer. I was like, fuck, that's not what I was shooting for. I wasn't looking for Dicks. I'm trying to find
it had to be that
200 push-ups.
Like Dicks.com, and I was like, no, this is not what I was.
Don't give me any ideas.
Yeah, this is not what I was looking for. I was trying to find a.
They're all like,
I'm trying to find a sleeping bag, and my boss is like, "What's up with what's up with this?"
I can't imagine though, because I remember before the internet, just sitting in a cube environment and doing everything I possibly could not to work, because I would come in hungover,
me too.
bored, and I would want to like talk to my neighbor, like, "Hey, what did you do last night?" And then see where the management was over there. So my whole thing was to exist in a corporate environment and get decent work done by doing very little. I cannot imagine had I been in that environment with the internet. How does anything get done?
I used to go on this site called hotornot.com and just sit there and swipe. Wasn't even like swipe, like rate people. That's how boring my job was. And I would turn my phone volume down real low so I didn't have to answer it.
The thing was called Hot or Not.
Hot or Not. I wonder if that even exists anymore. This was in probably 2000, early 2000s.
Oh my God.
We are sorry to
2001,
inform you
2002.
that you had 225 not hot.
It was
Talk
great.
about being oh man, being down in the dumps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
think
why my
about
self-esteem tanked.
That's almost masochistic.
Yeah, that's why
Put
my
yourself
like,
on there.
That's why my
man.
self-esteem just tanked.
225 people think you're ugly.
You're like, great. How many thought I looked great? 7.
All right, so let's go there. I realized we talked a little bit before the show. I realized no one is out there actively dating. At least no one that will admit that they're actually actively dating out there online right now. But Dave had spoken to some friends who are going through online dating during COVID. You know people, I know some people, but you speak to a lot of people, right?
Yes,
that are
I do.
dating through COVID. And I think that is something that I've just not fleshed it out on this show ever, because I haven't run across anyone who's actively doing it or will admit it.
That's the thing.
How is
admit
that
it.
being done now? How is that working?
It's
I mean, how could that work?
You got to be vaccinated.
Masked,
Oh my gosh.
vaccinated.
Got to be
Can't kiss.
vaccinated.
Nothing was open.
Can't share food.
But nothing was open. How do you meet someone for coffee? Where are we going to meet at?
It's
Well,
just-
let's just sit on the curb. You sit on that side of the street. I'll sit over here.
I don't know.
I mean-
I didn't have a lot of people that would admit to dating months ago, but now people are dating again.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear.
And,
glad to
yeah.
hear that. But I mean, it's just funny. That's the one thing that I would think people generally need. Human connection, emotional connection, and at all times, not that we. Just think about it. You're single. Let's say you're
Yeah.
living in a one-bedroom apartment. Your job, you hate it. Your friends are all doing
Life
these dynamic
sucks.
things. Yeah, you're looking. Life's not that.
You got to get on hotornot.com. and just-
I need to adopt
There
5
you
dogs.
go. That's it. Right. Or
10
maybe
cats.
Or cats. Yes. The
Yes.
cat lady. That's how cat ladies are created.
Yes.
They're incubated there.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's like of all times that the dating should have been a thing was during this, but you couldn't even do that. I mean, well, I'm sure people did. But
Shitty time to go through a divorce.
but you know what? I wonder if any crazy apps
Oh, I'm sure
were
there were a
invented
lot of
during
divorces.
COVID to circumvent traditional match and all this stuff. People were still hooking up.
you can
Oh,
upload your
definitely.
vaccine card.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
I mean, like, there's no bars to go to. You couldn't have coffee. You know, I guess you were encouraged to go outside, but does any woman really feel comfortable going into a park with a strange guy?
We'll take a walk through the
to my
woods.
house.
Yeah, just meet me in the wooded area.
Meet
me in the wooded area
Come on over
here.
to my house.
Just come on over.
I trust your
We'll have
profile picture. Sure, I
coffees.
do. I trust your profile. You're a real person. Sure. Yeah, I have to probably. I'm going to have to solicit some folks who are out there dating.
Yeah,
And
for
just
sure.
see how that went, because that has to be insane.
So I have a funny dating story through this. Not me, obviously. I'm married. Aaron, if you're listening, I'm married.
Are you sure you don't want to admit anything?
This was not.
Listen carefully.
This was not me. So it's a good friend of mine. He's gonna watch this. He's gonna listen to this. So he's gonna know it's him.
Maybe he's watching it now.
He's gonna know. So he's gonna know. So he is the most. He's a realist. He's the most real person you will meet. He will tell you exactly what he's thinking when he's thinking it.
Okay.
And has no qualms about it.
All right.
So he, I texted him one night and we're going, through this whole pandemic. And I was like, hey, do you want to go on sidelines, have some beers? I'll buy tonight. And he's like, no. I met this girl in the neighborhood while I was walking my dog. Young.
Yeah, that's innocent.
So, yeah, he's like, I was walking my dog. I met her. She just moved into the neighborhood, young, Brazilian. And I was like, wow, young Brazilian girl just met in the neighborhood. That's uncommon for you. That doesn't sound like something that's not up your alley.
That almost sounds like maybe it's a
So
like it happened on the internet.
Yeah. So like a few weeks go by.
Human smuggling going on over there.
So a few weeks go by, and I'm texting him, and I'm like, "Hey, how are things going?" And he's like, "Oh, great, man. We're having a blast and everything." And then I call him one night. I had a long drive, so I called him one night, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, "How are things going with the girl you're seeing?" He's like, "It's great." He's like, "There's that whole like language barrier thing, but we use Google Translate." I was like, I get it. This is why. She has no idea what the fuck you're saying. If she knew what you were saying, this would not happen. Never. I was like, this makes sense now. Google Translate, she doesn't speak English at all. So you're using the app. I was like, now I get it. Now I understand why she's hanging around. She has no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Because if she heard the last 10 minutes of our conversation, if she was at your place and heard what we were talking about, she was like, I'm out.
So wait a second. How do you get to meeting someone walking your dog all the way to the point that now you're using Google to talk to each other? Like, how do you get to that transition?
I didn't ask.
I don't know, because do you find that like now with the internet and dating, well, maybe no one else has done this, but if somebody approached me walking a dog, I would be like, that person's creepy.
Yeah.
This is COVID. This is the pandemic.
True. Not many
you
options.
take it where you can get it. It sounds a little bit creepy.
That's funny.
It sounds a little bit creepy.
But yeah, when he said that, he was like, "Oh, there's a language barrier," and I was like, "Now I was confused for a few weeks. I was wondering how this was working out, but now I completely get it."
Is he that bad of a?
You know what?
Be careful, he's going to hear this.
No, he'll listen to this. He's been my best friend for 30 some years and everything else, but he holds nothing back.
Yeah.
And that's one of the nice things about having him as a best friend. If I'm fucking up, if I'm doing something that's not right, or if he's not going to be the guy to be like, oh well, no, you're being too hard on yourself. He's gonna be like, what the fuck, man?
You're right, you are.
Like, really? You're being a fucking idiot, man. He'll be straightforward with you. He's not gonna mince words. And the great thing about him is you always know where you stand. Like there's no doubt where you stand on his, with him.
Otherwise, he has no filter.
No,
I can appreciate that.
And it's nice.
There's a place for that.
And I've known him long enough to know what it's like. So when people first meet him,
Right.
outside of that, they're a little bit like taken back, like, oh, really? It's like, that's, you at least know where you're at. Like, he's not going to mess with, he's not going to lie to you.
But someone might get their feelings hurt. Heaven forbid we can't do that anymore.
He's hurt lots of feelings, I'm sure.
So, all of us are, I am the oldest, I'll fess up to it, out of the group here. And all of these wonderful people are younger, so I don't want to insult anybody or insinuate anything. But generally speaking, I'm probably safe to say that you all remember pre-internet days, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying we don't have to talk about where you were in your life, but you remember that. So I break the last 25 years down to two ways. I break before internet and then before social media. So before internet's like 95 and before, generally 96 and before. And then I kind of go 2010. I mean, I know Facebook started in 08 technically, but by 2010 they really were just like taking over the planet. And MySpace was a thing, but did anybody really take that seriously outside of musicians and bands that wanted to promote themselves? The worst interface imaginable, right?
I think Facebook started earlier than that.
Yeah,
but
I
it was
think
just
it
for
was-
college. It was only for college because like you
I
had
think it
to
was
have
a Canadian
university
thing too, was it not?
Yeah, like you had to have a university email address.
Okay.
So, and I think it was like 04, 05. It was
Right.
around the time I met my wife.
Well, I think from
Worst days of my life.
in my little pea brain, I think of 2010 is when social media started, because I thought social media I thought Facebook was amazing. I'm able to connect with all these people at the same spot. Everybody's coming to the same spot, you know. But I never thought it would like take over the globe. I never like and change everything. So my question to you is, do you or have you ever thought about what life was like back before the internet? Can you remember back, like, you know, when even before cell phones became a real thing, when they were expensive and like maybe you didn't have one and you had to use a pay phone, or you would leave the house and your parents really didn't know where you were going, or they had
Right.
to,
There's a level of trust back
They had-
then that we
Oh,
don't have
man.
now.
I remember.
that's it.
The payphone.
Yes,
It
totally.
Is. Like, think about, like, my kids go out and I'm like, I text them, I don't hear back immediately. I'm like, I'm in a panic. My parents let me go out. They didn't even know where I was.
Be back for dinner.
Right.
And you
Like,
better
when
be in at 10
when
o'clock.
the street light comes on, come home.
That's
Yeah.
right. That used to be a thing.
Dude, the worst thing though with not having cell phones is being on the phone and your dad gets on the phone. Chris, you've been on the phone for 10 minutes. There could be somebody else trying to call. Because he
didn't
wanna-
have call waiting?
No, dude, he was not paying $1 a month for call waiting. And
so
it's totally embarrassing. Like, you on the phone, like, you know, who's that guy calling you? Well, you have a boyfriend. Well, yeah. I'm 16, Dad.
He's a surgeon, Dad.
Like, yeah, like, you know, there's other guys, you know.
So my dad works away from home. He worked away from home when I was younger. So he'd
On the
be,
boats, right? On the
yeah,
river. On the river,
he's
right?
a pilot on the riverboats.
Yep.
So he would be gone for, say, like 35, 40 days at a time when I was around like 15, 16. So the house was empty. And my dad was a single dad. It was me, him, and my brother.
Your parties are legendary.
Party
buddy.
time.
So that's the thing is we would party up there all. So it went on for about 2 years.
Oh, gosh.
Where nobody knew. We all had our stories straight. My buddy would take his parents' minivan, drive 2 miles down the road to the payphone, call his parents and say, "Hey, I'm staying at Dave's grandparents tonight," and that was that. Like we partied for 2 years like that. No one knew any different. And my dad came home one time and he was like, "I was pretty sure the last time I left, I bought toilet paper, and now we're like almost out." And there's me in the back seat of the car thinking like, does he know? Or does he not know?
No.
So I'm like, what do you think? Someone's breaking in and stealing toilet paper? That's ridiculous, man. No one's breaking in and doing that. You probably just didn't buy it. You've been gone for 40 days with 5 other guys on a boat. You're, just lost on that whole thing. So he goes out the next time around, and this is after about 2 years. We had a kid who he got too drunk, was going to walk home, walked to the payphone, called his parents from the payphone, drunk, and next thing you know, I'm passed out. My grandfather's waking me up.
Your grandfather's.
My
waking
grandfather's waking me up because his mom called and was like, "I can't find any of them. So and so said they're staying
You did not have a
here."
phone in your house?
No, we did. So that he didn't want to call from.
He
He didn't want to call from there because they had caller ID at their place. So he didn't want to, because they knew my dad was gone. The parents knew my dad was gone, so he didn't want to call from there. So my grandfather shows up and he's like, "You said you were staying here. This one said they were staying there. His mom called here." I was like, "Fuck." So I get home. My grandfather was like, "Your grandma was worried sick, but we don't need to tell your dad about this. We'll
Grandma
let this
pulling
slide."
through.
Yeah,
Got some
I was
cool
like,
grandparents.
I was like, "Oh, this is great." And then, sure enough, my dad gets off work and somebody didn't know that it was supposed to be a secret. They mentioned it to him, and I was at a girlfriend's house, and he called, her house phone, and he's like, "Hey, I'm off the boat. I'm gonna come pick you up." I was like, "Oh, I was gonna stay here for a little while." He's like, "No. I want to hear about what happened last month I was gone." I was like, "Nothing really." He's like, "Nothing really?" He's like, "Well, I'm about 20 minutes away." He's like, "Why don't you think up a story? Tell me something fun."
Think up a
Oh,
story.
that makes that
And I
20
was
minutes
like-
rough because
Yeah,
you're
I was
waiting.
like, yeah, and I was like, I guess he knows. So then I had to explain to him, and I was like, "Look, man, someone wasn't stealing your toilet paper. You can relax. You don't have to worry about someone breaking in the house. It was us."
I've had 55 parties and 6,000
Yeah, I was
people
like,
have shit.
I didn't even want to tell him what happened in his bedroom or anything else. I was like, "We'll just leave this." I was like, "Look, we had parties up there. This is how it went." I didn't want to mention like, "Hey,
I learned exactly.
I was like, "Hey, that pole at the end of your, like those big poles at the end of your bed." Good move. So I didn't let any of that go. I was like, "Yeah, we're not going to do that."
I had to learn how to do laundry. Yes, because I had to change all the linens. I was washing curtains. I was washing whatever I possibly could. I was terrified of getting in trouble.
Now I
Did you all have cell phones when you were? I mean, you're probably 10 years younger than me.
No, I didn't even have one in college.
Okay.
I lived through a school shooting at Penn State, and we had no cell phones.
Oh.
There was no warning system. I walked to class.
And you survived.
And I survived.
I used to be a flight attendant, and I didn't want a cell phone because if crew scheduling called and you were on a beeper, you could wait 15 minutes, call back, and they go, "I'm sorry, we gave away the trip," and then you're like, "Yay, I got some more time off."
And it's funny because that job I was telling you about that I was in the Cube was for a company called PageNet, right at the airport here. And that's
For the beepers.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, that's what we did.
I rocked a beeper for long.
I will tell you, I got my ear beat many times from flight attendants, usually newer ones, coming in the front door and screaming at us because their beeper didn't go off and they missed a trip.
And
they got a missed trip, or they got ripped for that bad.
Yes.
But cell phones, I mean, the per minute charge. I mean, kids today. They would have no clue.
They don't even understand.
My daughter saw a payphone like 4 or 5 years ago. It had absolutely no idea what it was. Cause Dad, it looks like a telephone on
It's a spaceship.
on a telephone pole over there. I'm
You
like,
put the address in, shoot up to space.
I had a babysitter once, and I was like explaining to her.
Doctor Who.
I was explaining to a babysitter once, like, she was like, "I don't even understand what you did. Like, how did you find each other before cell phones?" I was like, "Well, we set.
didn't.
Well, no, we said where we were going to be, and then we were just there at that time.
Okay.
The trust.
We
We trusted.
Can you remember, like, okay, so I have a hard time maneuvering, maybe because I'm just getting older, but I try oftentimes to read my old journals and remember, like, what it was like to plan a night out at, let's say, Donzi's or a night out down or in West Virginia. There was a place called the Dancer. Wherever it was.
Have a nice day cafe.
There was Chauncey's
South
and
side,
Metropole.
South side,
or Metropole. The point was that, we had to
Metropole was great.
we had to coordinate a bunch of guys to go down and hope there was a bunch of girls there. But this whole coordination thing was all done literally by landline phones. And you would not always be able to. This is well before beepers. We're talking like late 80s, early 90s in this instance for me. And we're coordinating it, and it all happened.
Right.
It all kind of happened. But now, I mean, like,
It probably happens less with cell phones,
Well,
honestly.
and
Exactly.
you had to
Exactly
talk to
right.
each other.
well, that was my whole point. We looked forward to actually seeing the other human. Like telephones, like I was. Like when I had my first girlfriend, of course, as a young person, I was on telephone for hours. Not normally because I wanted to be, but young girls wanted to be on the phone. That was their thing. And us young boys, to get the young girls, we were on the telephone. But it isn't like I would call my friends, other boyfriends, male friends, and talk on the phone long. But you did that generally to set up the physical meeting, to hang out, do whatever, go to a concert, play ball, whatever. Now it's like, I'm wondering if the way they're communicating, texting or whatever, no phone calls anymore, right? It's all texting.
No.
Are they still enjoying the actually physical hanging out? Is it the same level of enjoyment of that as, and I don't mean the sexual part, male and female, I'm talking more about just like friends. Is it still, Are they getting friendship satisfaction
wonder.
virtually now? I wonder about that.
I mean, they're
That's-
probably distracted.
Like, what do you mean?
Distracted
Well,
by
looking
their
at their
phone.
phone, looking down at their phone all the time. Like,
Yeah.
do these like 21-year-olds go dancing anymore? Do they go to the clubs?
I
Like,
would-
that's what
They
I
do, but they're
wonder.
snapping pictures. Like
Yeah.
they're
It's all
Snapchatting.
selfies.
They go there.
Right.
in the
They go
bathroom.
there.
Right, exactly.
That's very interesting. So they go there
Like,
because it
to
needs
show.
to be recorded.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it really didn't happen if there's no photo proof of it, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? When I was younger, just turning 18, 19, 20, and starting to get into bars, and I hung out with some older guys that would take me in there, like clubbing. I was at Chauncey's as a 20-year-old kid.
Chauncey's.
And
I remember
this would have been
Chauncey's.
like 85, and I go into Chauncey's as like a 20-year-old kid. I'm thinking, oh my God, it's Mecca, right? Well, the thing was then, I mean, because I was an amateur photographer, you never thought of taking photographs in a bar. That was something that you just did not do that. And you just never did that. I mean, if there was a birthday party or something after work and like a group photo, but I mean, like, you would not in the middle of the night when the bars, like the lights are low and you're dancing, and because bars were not seedy, but they were a different environment. You know what a club's supposed to be like, right? You would never in a million years think about taking a photograph in a bar.
Well, you would have one of those stupid plastic cameras. Hold on a minute. I don't know what this is going to turn out like. I'll get it developed next week.
I'll get free double prints.
At the Ritz. At the photo mat. Remember the photo mat?
All the pictures are black.
Well, yeah.
Like,
But I mean, like, you wouldn't, as a rule, that no one wanted their photograph taken in a bar because you were either shit-faced or you were possibly there doing something you shouldn't be doing or
Married.
with somebody you shouldn't be with.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you probably don't want your
But it's
picture taken
amazing,
there.
but now the photograph thing is incorporated in these. It's part of our life. It's like no one thinks nothing of it anymore.
Right.
you get caught doing everything now.
I
You could
Yeah.
be that person in the background and somebody go, oh, look at Sally over there. What's she doing there?
think, yeah.
She was supposed to be out to dinner with Aunt Edna.
Oh, that goes back to the way
Yeah.
we maneuvered our lives.
I know.
We weren't so public with our life in terms of location and just everything. I mean, I never give celebrities. I never let them. I never give them an out when they complain about celebrity. I just don't, because I
Yeah.
figure
part
if you're
of
lucky
it.
to get what you want, shut up, quit complaining about it. But I will say, I couldn't imagine having people everywhere I go not even like want to talk to me, but like take a picture of you, because you have no privacy outside of your home. You have no privacy, zero. So how do you maneuver in this day and age? Really, I mean, you can't litter out your car window with like a McDonald's. Not that I do this with a McDonald's wrapper or whatever. You can't do anything because you're going to be outed.
Sure.
You can make no mistake. Really?
Yeah.
'Cause none of us can really make a mistake either, but celebrities or people of notoriety definitely can't.
Yeah,
Doesn't
the
matter
one
who
time
you
you
are,
go
you-
to the store and you look bad, it's all over the, the magazines. She looks terrible.
Look at her
that.
cellulite.
Yeah, and she's probably like, "Fuck, I just needed some milk, and this is what happened.
10
All I
years
needed was
older.
a gallon
I
of
just
milk."
wanted to live like a normal person.
And I
Yeah.
hate
my
that
own
the
night.
night off, right? I went myself, right?
Yeah,
I
it was
drove
like-
the Maserati down to the AM Mini Mart. I put the baseball cap
I
on,
know,
right? No
yeah.
makeup, and I run in there with my sweatpants on, and they're taking pictures.
There's
of me.
like a little bit of belly fat, and they're like, she must be 10 months pregnant. She must be overdue. Like,
And they're getting in the car like, "Fuck, I just wanted a gallon of milk. That's it, 1 gallon of milk, and this
just
is what
look
happened."
at that
Like, it
baby
just
bump.
throws up
Oh
everywhere.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Like, look at it.
and that's all he needs. That rumor starts flying around, and then it's all like you're everywhere. Like social media's like, "Is so and so pregnant?" And everyone's like, "Oh my god, it might be twins. Holy
Oh
shit!"
my
Like,
God. Are we drunk on that? Like, are we drunk on celebrity in this country?
No,
No.
that is like totally going away. Nobody gives a crap.
I don't even know anything about pop culture anymore.
Wow, I did not expect that answer.
No, think about like
I mean,
the
we're
ratings.
older. We're an
like,
older group of people. Maybe that's why.
yeah.
If you
Well,
asked a 20-year-old
If
that, you might get a
celebrities
different
would just
response.
do celebrity, then maybe, but they're not like that anymore.
No, they want to preach to you now.
Yeah.
They want to preach to you.
And we don't really care to hear that.
Do we?
I don't.
I don't.
No,
Only if you connect with them, then you're like, yes, they're what I always dreamed they would be. But if they disagree with you, you're like,
excellent.
Go read a
points.
script.
Excellent. Well, okay, because that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
social media is terrible for that.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Joining a team. See, so we definitely don't want to get down political things
right.
here. But I will tell you, it cracks me up about social media is that we love uniqueness, right? We want to stand out. We want that selfie picture to make us stand out, to get likes or whatever the attention. Yet we really don't want to be unique because we're quick to join a team. It could be right or left, or it could be pro this or anti this,
right.
or it could be something as simple as rooting for a sports team. I'm pro Steelers and I hate the Browns. We always want to belong to something. So do we want to belong? Are we creatures that yearn to belong, or do we really want to be unique? What do we really, really want? Because I'm confused. I mean, I'm not really convinced that we want to be, we want to stand out. We want this uniqueness. Do we? Because we don't act like we do.
I think it depends on the person.
I think
you
so,
know? Yeah, I think it definitely depends on
You
the
don't think
person.
it's a dichotomy? Because I think a lot of people have both. I mean, you see people that are really into their, into whatever cause they have. Like it could be something like, I would say an example would be, without getting real political, would be animal rights. You see people that will torture you mentally to put it in your face to make you feel pain about how wretched that animal's being tortured to prove their point, right? So they're all for that, but then they stand back, and that's a tribe, I guess they call it. That's a tribe. They join that tribe, but then they still want that selfie, and they still want all this uniqueness. Look what my kid did. Look what my kid did, and he got this award, and she got this award. It's like, it's like you either belong, and you're helping the greater good, or you want uniqueness. What do you want?
I don't know. I think in a lot of ways for me, social media has shown me, like, especially with people from high school, who I have a different perspective. It shows me who I would connect with as an adult.
Okay.
That in high school I didn't. I'm like, I'll see someone post something and I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I agree with that.
Okay.
And, maybe I wasn't friends with that person 25 years ago, but we think alike. As adults, we think
I'm
alike.
there with you. That's a very good, that's a very astute observation. I would agree.
Like, for me, I don't friend anybody I don't really know on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Until tonight.
Because until who? Until you.
tonight.
Yeah, you.
Until me.
Yeah. I mean, and if they're in the music industry, like if they play instruments and stuff like I usually do.
Great.
But like I put pictures of my kids up and they're the good things they've done for my family to see.
I understand
like
that.
So that's like you know what I mean? Like it's not like really bragging, but it's like Aunt Kathy that lives in like Indiana.
It's a great way to connect.
Oh, I do this.
You know what I mean?
I'm right there with you, soul sister.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I think that's how social media should be done. If you're proud of your family, if you're proud of your accomplishments, the things you're involved with, I love all of that.
Yeah.
I just find there's a dichotomy oftentimes because, especially with younger, give the woman a beer. Does that screw off?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You didn't drink all these yet? What the hell?
I'm working on it. I'm working
You
on
being
it.
a poser tonight?
I'm working on it.
As she's over there hiding behind them.
Or vodka on the rocks. We're uncertain.
You do not
we don't
know.
know what that is. That's a good point.
So I use my Facebook. I stay in touch with people that I've was in the army with,
And that's awesome.
or knew with forever. But I try and because we're friends on there. Everything I do is and anything I post is like real life. It's not like
It's usually comic based,
comedic
based.
I'm not like telling my kids, post for this, hurry up, let me clean this mess up. I've posted stuff on Facebook where my wife was at work and she would text me and she was like, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you posted that picture with the house looking like that.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, you know your kids, right? This is what it's like. This is real life. Sorry.
I'm totally the person looking at all the crap in the background going, oh my God, look at their house.
Yeah, but
look at that house.
And I'm that guy that was like, if you knew my kids, you would understand.
You gotta
Sorry.
curate everything now. Everything has to be curated.
I'm like, if you knew my kids, you'd get it. They're
Photoshop.
just, these kids are savages. And she would text,
they're savages.
she would text me from work like, are you you really posted that? And I was like, why not? It's real life. This is what it's like. I was like, there are other people out there that have kids who have kids that are 5 and 2. I'll guarantee you their house does not look like that 24/7. I'll guarantee you that their kids downstairs turning over the fucking mega blocks or like just tossing shit right out of here.
No, they're
That's
on
what
a
they do.
hillside singing "The Hills Are Alive" with the sound of music.
Oh, really?
It's
So,
perfect.
yeah,
It's a perfect life.
I'm still
But
waiting to see
somewhere
that.
there's somebody looking at your post thinking, I like him more now.
Yeah.
And that would
They-
I'd be
and-
like, man, that person's so cool.
Because it's real.
Look,
Yeah,
I took
totally.
I took that picture of I had taken a picture to send my wife one day. I got up. I was like 4 or 5 weeks post-op, and like literally, I walked downstairs and looked in the mirror, and I was like, "Fuck, I look rough." Like, I get them like 4 or 5 weeks post-op, but I wasn't allowed to lift anything heavier than like 5 pounds for 6 weeks. So my kids weren't home. I spent 6 weeks at home with my dogs, like 14 hours a day. My hair was just, it was like all over the place.
I remember that picture.
Yeah,
Dave.
it was like all over here. And I was like, I'm losing the little bit of sanity I have left. This is a real photo. This is what real life is like. Not like, make sure everyone's hair is perfect. Make sure everything's this.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I use it as and yeah, it's comedic. My life's whatever, but I like to be real about it because
and you
not
are.
many people are, and that's what real life's like.
And a lot of people connect with that, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
it's-
I think you're right.
Yeah, because not like I see a lot of people on my Facebook that are everything has to be like staged and
Are
perfect.
we filter
and
crazy?
that. Huh? Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I've never
I don't
used
even know
a
how to filter a picture.
I don't know how to
I'm
use
not
a
gonna
filter.
It's
I
kind
can't
of funny
figure it
when
out.
people are so smoky. You're like, wait, where's their
I'm
face
like, how's
at?
their skin so perfect?
Or,
Well, no,
or
it's
like
all
sort of
fun.
so
It's like all
smooth.
fuzzy.
It's
Right.
so smooth. Like the
I
skin's so
learned-
smooth.
When their sons look like girls, you're like,
It's weird. Someone's gonna know what you look like
Yeah.
for real at some
Yeah.
point. So
Totally.
why
From the
would you do that?
2003 Hot or Not.
Well, that's-
like I know from the 2003 Hot or Not, the filter's not going to help.
Well,
like
I'll tell you, and we chatted a little bit off camera, but this is the truth. That what drove me insane, and I don't know about you, but what drove me absolutely freaking insane was when you would go on an internet date and the person, you couldn't find the date because you had this one, and I had it on my primitive phone. I'm trying to find her. I'm looking. Oh, man, she stood me up. And all of a sudden, like, and you're doing this scan along the room, like, multiple times, like, damn, I got stood up. Doesn't happen often, but man, it happened again. Shit. And all of a sudden you get a tap on the shoulder and you're like going, oh my God, please tell me it just can't, that cannot be the person I just like breezed by 2 minutes ago. Didn't look nothing like them. And then you kind of roundabout ask them about that. You find a way to politely say, I just did. Your photo was a little different than your outfit today. I wasn't sure. And they invariably, that photo's from a couple months back at my cousin Sally's wedding.
the stripes were vertical, not horizontal. What added a few pounds.
and I
Like-
happen to have too many cookies and ho-hos and cupcakes.
Oh my God.
I don't know who
my
would do
mind.
that. I had
Are
several
you-
people.
Are you kidding
Well,
me?
I never had it happen to me, but I did have many guys say to me, "How recent are your pictures?" And I
Well,
was
of
like,
course, and that's
"Well,
that-
they're from
and that's
like
why.
when I
That's
couldn't
why.
believe that because at some point you have to face that person, and I would be embarrassed to
Just
be
put the
deceived.
Yeah,
worst
even then,
picture
like-
of yourself up,
Okay.
and then it will be low expectation, and then when you walk in, they'll be like, "Damn."
That sounds like George from Seinfeld.
Totally.
Take the opposite.
Yeah,
Take the opposite. Try that.
totally.
Exactly what it worked. Now,
It
realtors
totally.
are notorious for like finding a photo and then casually just leaving that up on their profile for 7, 10,
20.
12, 20, 25
They got the
years.
1985 hairdo.
I mean, I have been at realtor functions, a couple of them, and I have not recognized people because the image that I would see, and they're high producers, the image that I would see, that looked like their dad or their mother. I mean, it's that. I mean,
They
I
had the
don't know.
bangs and everything. Like,
Kristen, it's like you said, eventually, you're real life is gonna happen at some point in time.
See,
in
I'm
that
not-
interaction, you
you're
know.
like, wait, did I see you in a Whitesnake video? Like this long ago?
I'm the opposite. I would want to misrepresent myself as negative and then
Yeah.
show up and feel positive. Like, I don't understand. I would be embarrassed to misrepresent myself the other direction.
I'd be nervous. Like, oh no, that doesn't look like me. I'm going to show up. What are they going to think?
See, that's interesting because I would venture to say that's not the vibe I got, and this is 10 years ago as this was going on, but it's not the vibe I got. And I felt bad often because, I mean, I'm no Adonis, so I was thankful they wanted to, you know, but no one ever said to me or insinuated that my photo wasn't accurate. So, I mean, at least I was putting an accurate recent photo up there. I thought that was important because I didn't want to waste my time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't want someone expecting, you know, Brad Pitt and then me show up, them being disappointed. So, because it was just, not that my emotions would be screwed up, but it was a waste of time.
Right. That's how I felt.
Okay. But there was plenty of, like, females that I met through that process that really were hung up and they felt pressure. Like, they would tell me, well, I feel pressure to use the filter. I feel pressure because all these, you know, young girls today, you know, and they're getting ass injections and lip injections. And there's a lot of, and I remember saying back in 2010, 2011, like, these women are kind of fucked up mentally. Like, they're just so wrapped up in
there is a lot of pressure when you're a woman.
Trying to compete, you know?
But here's the thing about online dating, I think, like, because not everybody's photogenic, and there are a lot of people that look way better in person than they do in pictures. And honestly, you might have somebody that you're like,
most people, really. Right?
They're kind of good looking, but I'm going to pass. And once you meet somebody, you don't know what your chemistry is going to be like. You don't know their personality. Like, they just might be like, you know, so what if this girl's gorgeous? This girl looks, you know, half decent, but her personality, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
My experience,
that is how men rationalize right there, for sure.
Honestly, like, and what I find attractive doesn't mean that's the great thing about, you know what I mean? Like, everybody finds somebody different attractive, but, like, you got to give other people chances because you just never know.
And sometimes, think about all the interactions that could have happened, but it'll never happen because the photo is the disqualifier.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never went by photos. I talked to people a lot before I went out with them.
Yeah,
and if
I
didn't click with them,
not a lot, but a little bit.
If I didn't click with them in some aspect,
I text them at least anyway.
See, and that's
like, I didn't want to go out with them.
I've never done online, so, like, I thought, like, most
you
people
don't know what
would.
you're missing.
I thought most people would look at, like, pictures, you know, and be like, eh.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do, and that's a ruling factor. But if I got a message that started, "Hey, baby, how are you today?" I was like, this person just sent this message to like 50 other people.
Do you know how many people
My
probably
name's
do
not
that?
Baby.
Like, you know how many people probably do that on, like,
That's
Twitter?
hilarious.
Twitter's a cesspool, but you know how many people probably send that out
Twitter's a
like, "Hey,
cesspool."
you look great." Like, you look great, and it's like, man,
I don't
you just
like
sent
Twitter's
that
the
like
garbage dunk with the internet.
Hi, I'm from Romania, and I'm a doctor, and I find you gorgeous.
yeah.
Can you send me $20,000, baby?
So what's great about Twitter is
And it works.
Like, during the pandemic, I actually, like, during the pandemic, to entertain myself.
great.
I
That's
feel
great.
terrible about this, but to entertain myself during the
Oh, you
pandemic.
didn't catfish people, did you?
No. I trolled everybody I could. Like, I made an anonymous Twitter account just to troll people.
So you're why Twitter
I don't even
screwed
know
up.
what Twitter is.
No.
You're the reason why
You're the
Twitter's screwed
cesspool.
up. Yeah, that's
You
why
are
it's
the
a cesspool.
I did not start the cesspool. I
You
joined the
contributed.
cesspool. I joined. No,
I am
but
not
what
on
I did-
Twitter, so I don't know.
I know.
So-
Because of that reason.
Wait, are you the only person? What media, like social media, is everybody on?
Oh, okay. Go ahead. What are you on?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram
Okay.
because I have a business and I
Right,
play in a
absolutely,
band. So
absolutely.
and then family, but yeah.
You?
Facebook,
Twitter.
Instagram, Twitter. I do have a real Twitter account. Like, I actually have a real Twitter account.
Okay.
But I had a troll, like, literally.
A troll.
Look,
He
the
just
troll,
admitted it.
the
He
troll
just
account.
admitted it.
What
Yes.
are you doing?
I had the troll. No, it was like during all these. It was during the pandemic. Like, all these people that were
my
out there,
God,
like,
that's
freaking out over, like, mask or no mask. It was all these people that were, like, going on these long rants, and you troll them, and you end up blocked, like, the next day, and, like, can't troll them again. All
You
right,
were
well,
very
that was
bored,
that.
huh? You were very bored,
Yeah,
weren't you?
So
he
look-
was home.
Yeah, I was home. Like, so my boss told
No
me
doubt.
as a nurse. So as a nurse, my boss told me when the pandemic started, they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to be too busy where we're working right now. Like, we're not doing elective cases. So if you don't want to come to work, you don't have to come to work."
You can open a fake
Literally.
Twitter account.
Literally.
And, you know,
So, like,
if you'd
literally.
like to.
Hot or not left.
Yeah.
Hot or not swipe right.
So literally,
not.
he told me that day, and I was like, all right, if I don't come to work, I want to go to work. So the next day, I slept in, no big deal. I'm hanging out at home. Fuck, I'm just gonna hear this. All right, so I dropped the kids off at daycare.
my wife's
'cause
dress
I was like,
Oh,
so
here
I
we
dropped
go.
the kids off
Drop
at
the-
daycare.
So he
I'm
could,
home.
go
Free
Twitter.
day.
I'm home by myself. I'm enjoying it. And then my boss calls and he's like, "Hey, where you at?" was like, what do you mean, where am I at?
Dude.
I'm at home. He's like,
Dude.
why aren't you at work?
Because I
was
have
like,
my kids.
You told me yesterday if I didn't want to come in, I didn't have to. He was like, you can't just stay home. You have to tell me. And I was like, you didn't say that. I was like, look, man, if we're going by, if you want to be
semantics,
we're going by semantics. You said if I don't want to come to work, I don't have to come to work. I didn't want to come to work today, so I stayed home. Got the kids. He's like, where are you coming in? And I was like, no, I got the kids. Meanwhile, they're at fucking daycare, probably driving the babysitter nuts. She's probably losing her mind because my two kids are just
got
like
4 screens up and 4 Twitter
And he's
handles.
like, Don Juan, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I was like, so the best troll job I had was
that's horrible. That's horrible.
So no, yeah, it was great. I was like,
You
no,
were
I'm home.
fighting with everybody. That's what you were doing.
everybody.
You were
Yeah, I was
fighting
just
with
trying to like
everybody.
stir the pot and
Causing
that.
havoc.
my babysitter's
The
losing her mind
cesspool.
there.
Successful Twitter's
I just jumped right in. Yeah,
The
the garbage dump of the
cesspool.
internet. I just jumped right in.
And that is why Twitter is generally the garbage dump of the internet, because there's no integrity
Yeah.
in comments in there. Like it's
Yeah,
there
because
isn't.
and if you go to Facebook, it's completely different. Like if you make a comment that's outside of their realm, so
Block.
you don't even do it.
or they want to crucify you.
Well,
Or they want to cancel
You get
put in time out.
canceled for a
So-
couple days.
Yeah,
so we had the snake in the house yesterday, right?
yeah.
So there was I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. There was
Gardener snake. It was a gardener snake.
It
It
could have
looked
been.
like a rattle
It could have been a
You
rattlesnake.
put it in your
Water
house to start
moccasin.
trouble.
You have no idea.
without the water.
This could have been.
Exactly.
A python.
Python.
This could have been a rattlesnake. I don't know. It
Black
could have been a
mamba.
rattlesnake. So we have this we have this snake in the house that I'm
Hey,
trying to
Daddy, there's a snake. No, there's not a snake.
I'm trying to
There's a
I'm
snake
arguing
in my
back and forth
boot.
with my wife. I was like, did you put that there, or is this
Is that a rubber snake?
Yeah. I was like, is that for real? And she's like, are you fucking with me?
It's one of those plastic ones that you hold on the tail and it just moves.
And that's what I thought, and that's what I thought it was.
I think you put it there. You were trying to start trouble.
So you think?
Yeah, I think so.
So you think? But I was like, I thought she did it to me, and I was like, are you messing with me? Like, did you put that there because of this? She's like, no, are you
It
fucking
wasn't
with me?
moving, it was
She was
just
like,
sitting
it was just like wrapped around the cord. And I was like, are you fucking with me? And she's like, no, you're messing with me. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, it looks like a snake wrapped around the cord. And it was probably like 11. It wasn't even a foot long. It was literally a baby snake.
7 inches.
Yeah. So it's like, and I was like, no, did you do this? And she's like, no, you did this.
And you took a
Then it
picture
moved.
of it.
Then it moved.
And it looked way bigger.
I
and then
didn't-
you went on Twitter and lied about it.
I didn't want if I would have got a video of this whole ordeal, I could never face my friends again ever, because this snake moved and I was like, that's a real snake. What am I going to do?
Did your wife take care of it for you?
No.
You were
You know what?
on
She got home and she could take care of
No,
it.
so that's the thing. Like we're both at home at the same time. This snake moved, and she's like, "That snake just moved." And I'm standing back. I'm like, "All right, how am I going to trap the snake? How do I get him out of the house?"
Meanwhile, your
What am
5-year-old
I going to
took
do?
care
this?
of it.
No. So I'm like, how am I going to
Daddy,
do this?
I'll
Like,
get it. I'll
like-
get it, Daddy.
like, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? How do I grab this
He takes
this
it,
snake
puts it
here?
in its mouth.
And my wife's like, it's literally a baby snake. Just grab it and throw it outside. I was like, all right, Steve Irwin, why don't you go fucking grab the snake
He's
and throw
dead,
it right
Yeah.
outside?
You mean
Yeah,
Bindi.
exactly, because he was messing around with something he shouldn't have.
That's probably right.
Which is why I didn't want to
Although
trap that
thing had
snake.
that thing had a spike on the end of it. It was
Yeah,
probably
well,
like about 10 feet long.
This snake could have.
Yeah, okay.
You weren't there.
No, I wasn't.
And I just don't know if I
it
believe
was-
this story after
No,
that
I-
Twitter
Oh, yeah,
thing.
fish-
I'm
it was
sorry.
scary.
I'm
No,
sorry.
it
What
was-
else was in your
Wait,
house?
you didn't tell us what social media you're on.
Oh, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook, and I have old Twitter accounts that
Oh.
are at-
Oh, here we
Oh,
go.
so there
He
you
was
go.
trolling
we
before
go.
I was, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was trolling back in 2012.
Yeah, see?
and I realized it was a garbage dump there. I mean, they only I talk too much, so they only allowed 142 characters. Like, how the fuck am I going to get my statement out in 142 characters? At least on Facebook, I can rant like a mother effer.
Well, what do you think about Instagram? Or Insta, as the kids call it.
It's good for business.
I think it's good for
and
business.
promoting.
I think it's kind of redundant because and again,
Hashtag. Do I have to put a hashtag?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
understand.
it goes on
and believe
other
me, I'm trying
sites.
to use it, but I don't know what I'm doing. The thing is, I was told I had to use it because in competing with other realtors, there's a lot of realtors younger than me, and in that generation, that's where a lot of supposedly. That's where they were farming business. I've gotten so much business over the years from Facebook. I've gotten, to my knowledge, jack shit out of Instagram. I like to cancel that shit.
Yeah, my Instagram's not that great either. I just don't have time.
I think it's beyond our generation. I don't understand.
Time to do
Hashtag,
that.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand the hashtag.
Well, and here's the thing on Instagram, like you don't want to follow too many people, right? So you want to have like 1 million trillion followers, but you only want to be following.
Oh, your
like 10.
ratio matters.
Oh yeah, totally. Like I've noticed that. Like people will like follow you in hopes that you will follow them, and then they drop you. That's how it is. Yeah.
Insta strategy.
Totally.
Maybe
check
that's
that out.
maybe that's
it's
why
all
my
about
like
numbers.
Instagram model following thing didn't work out, because they're working on their ratio.
Your ratio.
Exactly.
So.
That's what happened. I tried being an Instagram model and it didn't work out. Maybe it's because the ratio.
Ridiculous.
What a selfish
What about,
society.
is anybody on
they only have like
Snapchat?
10
Is that a
likes?
thing?
What the heck? They are losers. 10 likes? Really?
That's
It's like it's ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
What about
Like,
Snapchat?
seriously.
I couldn't figure it out.
Oh, I don't know that.
I don't
have
understand
no
it.
idea. Well, that's so that kids could like flash them each other and
I think
like
it's
it
exactly
goes
what
away.
that's for.
That is what that is for. You can't tell me any different.
And it's funny you said that, because I will tell you, I see a lot of realtors. And yeah, they're probably in different. But I see them.
Look at my pantyhose and skirts.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
listen, no, they have.
I'm in my basement of my
My
ranch.
pumps.
Yeah, exactly right.
3-bedroom ranch, meet you in the basement.
There you go. In Hopewell. The
sold a ranch.
The poorly lit one, I might add. Yeah. I will tell you that when I see them having their emoji, and this is like a realtor in their 30s, mind you, or their early 40s, and they got this emoji, and they have a Snapchat account, and I'm getting a little weirded out at that point. I'm like, yeah, that's not right.
Do you have a Snapchat?
No.
Yeah.
I tried it.
Even
I never
lasted
did
about
it.
3 weeks.
I wouldn't even know.
And then no one ever sent me a message. And it was like no one.
I don't understand
No
it.
one knew I was on
That's
there.
sad.
So
I've accidentally called way too many
I did feel a
people.
little sad
Done
about
that a few
that?
times, yeah. Like I hit the button to
You're
try
just
to like
not,
see
you know,
something, and
cool
it calls
enough,
them
you
up.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
not-
Snapchat. I'm
Even
not Snapchat.
private messenger, like I'm inappropriate. Like somebody's like,
Okay.
oh, my uncle just died. And I'm like, blue thumbs up. And then I'm like, oh, shit,
Okay.
did I send that?
Okay.
Like, I didn't mean to do that.
So inappropriate.
So since we have two women on this show, and we're talking about Snapchat and Instagram and all this, there's something that you and I probably, well, I can guarantee you and I have no idea about that they know well about, right? Guaranteed that they probably take for granted, although it's fucking ridiculous, but they have to. It's not happening to us. But men, I am told, just send random shit, whether it's photographs, ask the weirdest questions, like whether it's seedy, whether they're trying to be funny, but there's all this solicitation goes on with women. We ain't getting that. I know we're not getting that.
Half
so don't
the time
even lie
it's
about it.
guys
We're
you
not
know.
getting that.
That's the guy from Russia.
Well,
the guy from Russia.
But I mean, like I heard, and what's funny was I was hearing this about a couple years ago over when I was talking to the realtors. They were saying to me that this is like, and I sat around a table one night, and there was a bunch of people at this table, and there was drinks, and I was hearing these women just talk about that they're getting, sometimes some of the weeks they're getting like 15, 20, 30 different messages, and they tell the men, or they block them, they get more, or they say, look, leave me alone, I want to tell your wife or whatever, and they just keep coming back. Like that's an obstacle that they face in them having social media that we don't face.
I joke with
I get like one every 6 months, and I'm pretty sure it's from like Al Qaeda or ISIS or something like that, because it's some man's name, and it's this like 20-year-old girl with all the cleavage, and I'm like, yeah,
they use their sentence
Oh my
structure's
gosh.
bad.
and it's
no
and
propositions
it's
in the
terrible,
sentence
and
at
I'm
all.
like, not today,
No
us.
propositions
Not
in the
today.
I literally had a girl from high school who was engaged to a guy from Iran. Legit engaged to him. I don't think it was real, but
I always joke I joke with girls that I went to high school with, and we call them the usual suspects. They like zoom in. Like I'm getting divorced, I'm posting my solemn, my posts about, all the memes that you share when your relationship ends on Facebook. And I get a message from someone
There's
from
a
high
certain
school.
folder with those in there. You have to go to that folder. Go to that folder.
You get a message from someone from high school. Oh, do you want to get coffee? Because, if you need to talk, I'm here for you. I haven't talked to you for 20 years. You're not my friend.
I just want to know your business.
And then,
that is
another girl from high school, we started talking, and she was like, oh, yeah, this person messaged me, and this person. I was like, all those same guys messaged me.
And that is exactly how they sound when they send it, too. Like, that is exactly what they're... Like, the voice you did was probably exactly what they were thinking when they did it. They're like, hey, let's go get coffee.
Yeah.
Well,
like, I can help her out. She needs me right now.
Do you notice on Facebook, as soon as a woman or anybody starts posting like a million selfies, you're like, something's up. Something's up. I'm going to their page. There is something up. There are too many selfies going on.
Or I joke with
Ryan. And then you like look and see what guys are commenting, and you're like, oh man, they broke up with their husband. Something's going on. This dude.
Somebody changes their profile picture from them and their spouse to just them.
Yeah,
and then their cover photo changes from like their family to just them. Like everything starts. You're like, oh shit, someone's in trouble.
20 selfies a day.
Yeah,
you're like, oh.
You're going down the rabbit hole like you're Matlock, and you're like, holy fuck, I gotta figure out what's going on here.
I'm going to stick up for our gender.
Yeah, like you're Matlock, you're like, I gotta figure this out. Who is this?
Who
did they do
you're
this?
You're
like,
so deep.
And you're going through, you're going through the threads of the comments, and you're like,
just in trouble.
You're like, oh man, this guy is into her. There's something going on with these two.
Then you're clicking on his picture, like, is he still with his wife? No, he changed his profile picture too.
Men interested in women. Oh, it says it on Facebook.
Yes, yeah.
You can
they
find
don't
out
have
a lot
a relationship status. Like,
meanwhile, I'm too busy to do anything in life, but I have time for that.
But I will tell you, there is some hypocrisy, because you will see this as well. You will see a photograph of like a glamour shot of a woman talking about how bad her life is and all this stuff on a post with no picture, and then the glamour shot below, just baiting for likes, baiting for comments from men, baiting it, and then she complains, oh, all these guys are just hitting on me, and it's just ridiculous. Oh, my inbox is just full of men soliciting me. This is disgusting. Meanwhile, her cleavage is showing, and she's making a pucker lips, and there's like 10 filters on her face.
I hate the duck lips.
There's 10 filters on her face, but she said she's complaining that there's all these men, some of them are even married, they're contacting me. Oh, you're so appalled.
Yeah, they're not.
Whore.
I'm sure it goes both ways.
But you know what?
Exactly.
But I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
There are feeders out there.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong at all. I'm just saying it's, sometimes you attract what you want.
Well, yeah,
well, sometimes you use social media as your outlet. So if you're going through like the end of a relationship,
is that always wise?
It's not. But you know what?
But what if you don't have anybody?
But you know what, and totally, I'm not against people taking pictures of themselves, because if you feel great that day and you feel like you look good, put your picture out there. Why not? And if you know what, if they don't like it,
I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
No. I know.
Totally.
I'm with you 100%. But which I have to.
But no, I know what you're saying though.
What's going on?
And like the duck lip thing, every woman needs to stop doing.
They want a boost. They want a self-esteem boost.
For me, it's sad, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with them getting it. But then don't complain that their inbox is full with these shifty men.
Well, they want everybody to know about it.
Yeah, like 9 million people. Like, I had 82 people send me a message. My last selfie was literally that 10-day post-op where it looked like I was on a 10-day bender. Like the last selfie I took and posted anywhere literally looked like I just came off a 10-day bender. Like I was partying with Charlie Sheen or whatever. Like
not
hairs
well
all over. No, not well. Like, it ended poorly for me. And that was the last selfie I posted, and it probably got more likes than the picture of my 2 kids today by themselves. They're like, wow, you look like you're having a rough go. And I was like, no shit. I said it right here.
You look like you're having a rough go.
I was like, no shit. I said it right here. I'm losing my fucking mind being at home by myself. This is why I look like this.
My brother and his wife went to high school together, and they were both divorced, reconnected over Facebook, and ended up getting married. So
I guess Natalie and I did.
Nice.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
I mean, because after my wonderful experience on internet dating, after all those first dates, but we connected. We went to high school together somewhat. I mean, same hometown. She went to Swickley Academy. I barely made it out of the lump on the hill up there. But the point is, we
You
kinda
knew of each
reconnected.
other.
Yeah, we kind of reconnected in that way. So yeah, I mean, I love social media, and I also hate social media. And
Right.
sometimes I love it for the same reasons I hate it.
Right.
So
You know?
so the great thing about it is that now everybody has a voice, everybody has a platform. So you can get that you can get your message out there, you can get your life out there. But then again, every donkey has a platform, so every bonehead can put out whatever it is they.
Oh, I'm going to say it. Some people don't deserve
some
it.
Some people should not be there
They shouldn't be
sharing what
heard.
they share. Yeah, and
Don't
it's-
you find that you can also in that aspect of people putting themselves out there, you can find who you would connect with
Yes.
normally?
Yeah,
And you
Or-
can connect with
There's
them.
that very positive
Or
with that.
you
100%.
might be like, holy cow, I did not know they were like
That
that and
person
believe that
is
way.
effed.
Whoa,
So-
man.
Yes, and that
that's
happens on a daily basis.
Yeah, you're like,
So-
whoa.
So I talk to
I'm
people.
just gonna like pause you for a while because I can't.
Wait, he believes
I can't even.
he believes the Earth is flat. He really believes the Earth is flat.
I talk to there's people that I talk to now on a regular basis now because of social media. Then in high school wouldn't give me the time of day.
That's what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
would not give me the time of
Right.
day, and now they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were like this." I was like, "Oh yeah, because you flipped me the bird when you walked by me." And
I mean, when you're a
the
teenager, you don't
hallway,
even
like-
have those
Yeah,
opinions,
you
but
don't
you
have
find
that-
a way to connect with those people that maybe you didn't find in high school. I've seen that in my own
yeah,
life.
we're like, "Hey, look, we're a lot more alike than you thought."
Right.
High school's so far away from me, I can't remember any of that shit. Who liked who and who didn't like who.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was just like who you're friends with is basically based on social stratification or sports or whatever
Yeah, oh,
activities
yeah.
you're in.
Good point.
And then as an adult, you get to see people's actual point of view and know who you would connect with.
But it is fascinating to me, though, when you look back at high school, and I'm sure it's the same with every high school, whether it's small, medium, or large. When you look back at who was supposed to be this and that and this and that, they didn't do it. And those who didn't make a big stinker, might not have been very memorable for anything in particular, did these amazing things. It's never as it was. It's just not, and usually it's upside down. And there's some really interesting, kind of like something right in the world about that. I think so. Because generally, I laughed my ass off when I can remember some folks in high school that had all the advantages or thought they did or were the darlings for this or that, or they did think their shit didn't stink. And when you see them now at the bar, going about 3:10, no hair, drunk off their ass, and their wife keeps calling for them to go home. When you see that, kind of like, yeah, there's some justice in the world. That maybe Buddha had it right. Things always, karma's a bitch. It kind of equals itself out. I'm not saying it's always that way, but it's amazing how different. Like, in science, someone said the following in some documentary, and tell me if you ever heard this, where we regenerate like our body, our bones, because new cells are constantly being born, and around every 9 to 10 years. We're different. We completely, is that right? We completely grow new everything, skin, tissue. It doesn't happen overnight, but
Hair changes.
every 9 years, you're literally a new human. It's you mentally and cognitively, but your physical body is not the same 9 years ago.
My kid reminds me of
Well,
that all the time. My oldest son reminds me all the time of that.
But I wonder
But-
if that's true medically. Could that possibly have something to do with the stages of life? And
Totally.
if you feel different than you did 10 years ago, or roughly speaking, is that ultimately because you are a flipping completely different person than you were
Well,
10 years ago?
Like, I think about, I dated a guy in high school for 9 years, and as soon as I hit my 20s, I was like, wow, he's just not this. You grow, they grow.
Well, your kids
And
then, though,
and then like you hit your 30s, you change, you hit your 40s, you change. But I don't know, like I just wonder people too that have been together since like high school and they're still together.
Yeah.
Like how do they do it? Because I can understand
Do you
people
know
being together
anybody
when
like that?
My
yeah,
parents.
my sister. Yeah,
okay.
my sister.
My parents will be married 60 years in August.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
awesome.
and they got together in high school?
And my mom was 16. My dad was 18.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
had 8 kids together.
Wow.
I think
Okay.
back then it was like a level you just committed. It was
Right.
different. It was like you committed and that was it.
My
Yeah.
sister and her husband been together since they were 14 and they're 60.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
I'll be buried in my
mean-
backyard long before that happens. You know where I live, so if I
But I
ever
just
turn up
don't know
like
how.
no
like,
Facebook posts, you know where I'm at.
I don't know. Like,
Somewhere
I don't
buried
have a
in my
lot of
yard.
No
faith in
Twitter.
that.
No.
Yeah, no Twitter.
No shady Twitters.
Someone's not trolling anybody.
That's
You know
great.
where it's at.
Great. That's
Yeah.
great. Do you believe in the concept of forever?
Like how? Marriage or?
Let's just, I'll tell you what, let's just...
Eternity? What do you
Let's
mean?
just put it out there. And, good question. Let's just put it out there. Do you believe in the word forever? Do you believe that forever?
Can I use the restroom before
Yeah,
we go into
I
that?
was going to say, let's talk about
'Cause
on the other side of the break.
On the other side of the break, yeah, because if we're going to go into the concept of forever.
It'll be
He's
forever.
going on forever.
Well, no, I need to text my wife and be like, you know what? The pod's not going well. Don't watch this one. Yeah, don't watch this one.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the.
That's the British way of saying vacant, by the way. That's
I
what we're
could
saying.
not. Yeah, we're not saying vey.
No,
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 no.
no. He might have.
Y'all
did.
so
And
pretty.
you know what's crazy? I
Y'all
remember
so
seeing.
pretty.
I remember 1996 when they got together, and seeing them on. I will never forget this. Seeing on David Letterman, and they're coming out, and I'm going. There's no way they're going to play Pretty Vacant on national television. There's just no way they're going to let him say "CUNT" on
Oh gosh.
NBC. And I heard Steve Jones, that riff. I'm going, you have to be shitting me. And sure did Rotten when he came to that part of the. He paused. He said, "Vacant," and it was. And I'm going,
They didn't get it though. They thought he was. Yeah. They
how
didn't
did
get
the censors not?
They
How
didn't
did
get
they possibly? But he says it like 20 times in the song, and at the end you can see David Letterman's face going, "Guys, great,
That was
fantastic,
awesome.
fantastic."
So, did you watch a lot of Letterman, like
I did.
the guests?
I did.
Who was your favorite music performance?
Musical.
Oh, Stone Temple Pilots was good on there. Oh man,
I love them.
The Pistols were good on it. STP.
That's-
I feel like they're extremely underrated.
Oh
'cause
my God.
They
Sing
came
it, Soul
out
Sister.
I
when
can tell you
Pearl
my
Jam
favorite
came out.
right off the
and-
top. Like my
Oh, I
favorite
remember.
David Letterman
Who was it?
musical guest was the Beastie Boys doing Sabotage.
Love them.
Oh, yeah.
The Beastie
Oh,
Boys Sabotage was just. I don't know what it was about it. They were just. That was just not. They had. I think he had Slayer on.
He did have Slayer on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he had Slayer on one time. Yeah, he had a very wide range of.
Well, he would once in a while he would do some crazy. Yeah, once in a while you had this kind of. Yeah. Slayer. Slayer was on there one time. I never got that band though.
No, I hear you, but
One song, "Raining
Yeah.
Blood," right? That was the one song that had the there was melody in there. It
was interesting that it was on primetime TV that they actually had them on.
David Letterman.
Yeah.
So Ice-T did a cover
Is he still
of Raining
living?
Blood.
Ice-T?
Ice-T did
No,
a
he's a beard now. He's a.
I
Oh,
love
he
covers.
is living. Okay.
Ice-T did a cover of Raining Blood, which was actually pretty good. And then one of the other covers that I liked was Korn and Slipknot in London did a cover of Sabotage, the Beastie Boys
Oh,
Sabotage.
that's cool. I have an entire playlist
Which was
of cover
just
songs.
covers.
Which was fantastic. And there's some covers that I'm like, this doesn't really,
No,
this isn't work
some-
for me.
some
And
shouldn't
there's
be
some
done.
where I'm like, this
Some
was.
shouldn't be done.
There's some where I'm like, this was great.
I love
They did a great.
when someone can take a song and make it their own. It
Yep.
can be
But
truly
it's-
amazing.
But it's rare. It's rare that
It
it
is
can
rare.
be done. Like
I really liked when Marilyn Manson did "Sweet Dreams." I'm not gonna lie.
That wasn't bad, but
I
he's a
like
weird
that
one.
one.
It.
I did like
liked
that
it. Like it just
Hashtag
makes you
me
like,
too. I don't
Yeah.
like him anymore.
But dude, like "Sweet Dreams," Marilyn
canceled.
Manson. I like it.
It's canceled.
He is canceled, but
Canceled.
that was a
Canceled.
good cover.
That was a good one, yeah.
What did he do? Did he do something I don't know about?
Marilyn Manson, he's probably done a lot of things we don't know about.
I know. Like I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I get all my news from social media. So.
I was going into these really heavy metal acts at these shows, and like this is. I'm not in Kansas anymore. This isn't like, smoke a joint, try to fill up your girlfriend on the way home, and like listen to the ELO. That's not what's going on here. These people are trying to kill each other.
There's girls with chains coming out of their underwear.
Yeah.
That always impressed me. I'm like, man, that bitch got chains coming out of her underwear. Woo!
Mosh pits were insane.
Were you at a graffiti? You ever
Oh,
go see
plenty
the
of
show
times.
Graffiti? That was like the best place to go see a show. And mosh
Graffiti
pits.
was amazing. Well, I never saw a mosh pit at Graffiti.
Oh,
though.
every show was that was a
Do you
mosh
guys
pit
go
at
to
Graffiti.
concerts still? I mean, you probably do, Kristie, right?
Yeah, it's
I'm
been
not,
a
I'm
minute.
not in the retirement home
Well,
yet,
what-
Kristen.
what
I'm getting older, but damn.
I love live
damn.
music. I'm just wondering
I
what
do.
what do you
Yeah.
go see now?
I
What do
love
you
live
what do you go
music.
see nowadays?
Nothing.
Crickets.
Well, I mean, it's
not
been a
this
while.
last year, nothing. Shit.
I
I mean,
mean, I had like 3 sets of concert
The
tickets.
last show
to
I went
burn.
to was probably like Clutch. You know, that was, you ever see Clutch?
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah,
that was-
They opened
that
for
probably,
Kiss a couple
like-
times.
Yeah,
when would that have been?
Buckethead.
Buckethead, what a guitar player.
A couple years ago.
John Five.
Probably
You seen
5
John
years,
Five?
5 or so years ago. Yeah, at what's that place? It's still going on.
Star Lake.
Millville.
Oh, I love that.
Millville.
That's one of my favorite places to go
Yeah.
see a show.
Yeah.
So small and intimate. I love it.
Yeah.
Live music got to come back. That's the one thing about the pandemic that I've missed is the fact that even if I don't end up making it to the bar, the fact that I know that I could have gone.
I have
not even
tickets to a
that,
concert
you
this
know?
year. So
Who you going to see?
Brett Dennen. You probably don't know him, but it's kind of folky.
I don't.
Why do
I
I
don't.
know
It's
that?
at a winery like in Belle
Good.
Vernon or something.
Good. Wait, a winery in Belle Vernon.
I
What's
was
this
just going to
called?
say there's a winery in Val Vernon.
I don't even know where Belle Vernon is, but I love Brett
Oh,
Dennen, and I bought tickets, and I saw him at that concert hall in Millville before too.
I hope it comes back.
Dinosaur Jr.'s coming.
Oh my gosh, I love them.
I love
I said to
Dinosaur
Ryan,
Jr.
"Can we go?" He's
Wait,
like, "Do they
who?
have more than one?"
Dinosaur Jr. You got to check
Yeah,
him out.
I know them. I have not heard.
They
a
are
damn thing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Are they still kicking?
Yeah, he's coming. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Wow.
Our little
Yeah.
group should go.
Is
yeah,
that a
totally.
Is that
'cause
a
I-
90s?
I'm in.
Yeah, like
90s.
yeah, he's been around for a long time.
I listened to them
Like,
in
shit,
college,
man.
so.
30 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, don't date me. Oh my god.
What would you say was the best concert you ever went to?
Don't ask me first.
I know, that's a
I gotta
hard
think
one.
About that.
You know what? I have to tell you, one of my best shows was Helmet at Graffiti.
Oh, that's a
dude.
fun-
They let us on the stage flipping. I
what
was doing
year was
flips
that?
and friggin'
Yeah, because
like
my buddy went to that and said he almost
it
died.
was a good show, man.
almost
It
died at that
was
show.
nuts. It
Yeah.
was nuts.
He almost died.
It was nuts. I went to 94 Woodstock. That was interesting.
You went to 94
I was
Woodstock.
at
I watched
at
that on
94
television.
Woodstock. I was like, look, dude, there were literally some naked people walking around. It was quite interesting. It was,
Probably
and
like
it
the
rained.
original.
It rained,
Of
and
course
then
it
the porta potties were disgusting.
So that
And like, there wasn't enough food for everybody.
I remember that.
But we lived.
the
We
Red Hot
lived.
Chili Peppers, right?
Oh yeah, Nine
You know
Inch
what?
Nails.
I've seen them in concert more than
Yeah,
once, and
I
I
think-
find them disappointing.
They're not a
Red
good
Hot
live
Chili-
act.
They're not, but I
Yeah.
love
Now,
them.
Flea's
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
as a musician, but I think he's the only one in that band. Frusciante was a good guitar player. Is he still around?
Oh,
now?
Frusciante. I love
yeah.
it. Yeah, I love
I mean,
Frusciante.
but I don't know about live.
I don't know if he's with it. No, he's more of like a shy guy, it seems. Like he like plays this thing, but he doesn't like get crazy. A
Okay.
little bit, but I mean I don't see him
What am I hearing?
What's your favorite show? The best one you went to?
Oh man, I don't even know how to answer that.
I have two in between.
Go ahead.
Like, I saw Metallica in '97 at the Civic Arena, and it was they were fantastic. Like they were, and then in '99 I went to it was Metropole. It was the X Kick-Ass Christmas in '99. It was Static X, Seven Dust, and Jimmy's Chicken Shack. I want to say.
Oh, I remember Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
That was one of the best shows
Dude, forgot about that.
I've
band.
ever been to. Like, and most of it had to do with the venue, like just being there.
Oh, the venue's
that like
naked.
small venue, and because I had missed the Deftones prior. Though,
Yeah.
growing up, they were one of my favorite.
Yeah,
I wanted to
yeah,
see
yeah.
the Deftones. I wanted to see them there.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the chance to. But seeing Stained and Static
Yeah.
X, Seven Dust,
Stained is
there
awesome.
Was they were great. Like, but Metallica in '97 was hard to beat. They were really good.
Mr. Small.
And like I said,
that's the Millville
Mr.
one.
Small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr.
That is a
Smalls,
great,
yeah.
Yes.
great music venue.
It's okay. I like Graffiti because you could go up and watch the
I miss
bands,
Graffiti. I miss
and
Graffiti.
like you could see the stage. Like if you didn't want to be in the pit, you could go up above, and I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty awesome.
So again, I'm a good 10 years older than you all, roughly, maybe 8. But so my generation might be a little different musically. But I saw Kiss was my favorite band for Coker Crook, and I got to work with them. So I got that real special thing there for me. And I saw too many Kiss shows. The varnish was off. I mean, especially because I was photographing them, and being around the band too close is not where you want to be. Because as soon as you get around a spectacle too close, it doesn't become a spectacle anymore, and you see
You're like,
the
oh, they're normal
personalities,
people.
and you see the wrinkles on the face, and you see it just wasn't the same for me. But early on, before I was working with them, going to the reunion tour in '96 when they finally put the makeup back on, that was a big thing to me. Seeing Jimmy Page play with the Crows, row AA,
that's awesome.
seat 1, and staring up at Jimmy Page and watching him slobber and play behind the beat. And the Crows playing the Zeppelin songs very good.
I love
That's
them.
awesome.
But just watching Jimmy play these classic songs that I grew up with,
Wow.
and then seeing, and probably just seeing, I would imagine seeing Sabbath and yeah, I'm like, there's just so
What was
many
the first
Rush
concert?
Rush shows.
What was the first concert you went to?
Officially, or the one I snuck to?
Both.
The one that my parents knew about was Rush, 79, 80. But the year before, when I was 12, I snuck to an Aerosmith show with a friend and his older brother. And I happened to run into, on the floor, because that's where we were, of the Civic Arena, a guy that worked for my dad in a warehouse.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I look at him, I go, "Hey, Al." He goes, "Little McKenna, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just here to see the show." Like, I go, "Don't worry, kid, I won't tell your dad." I'm like, "Oh, God."
Unlike your friend.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
well. So I'm thinking I'm clear. I go home. Next day at dinner, my dad's looking at me kind of funny. And I'm feeling kind of funny. That's probably contact high, right? 12 years old. Goes on for a week. My dad's giving me the dirty look.
Waiting for you to tell him.
Torturing me, right? And finally at the end he goes, "I talked to Al. He said he went to that band you like. What's that band? That Smith band?" He said it was really loud. He said, I go, "Yeah, that's what Ron Rokicki went, and he said it was really loud." And he says, "Yeah." He said that he saw a kid with glasses, blonde-haired kid, looked just like you, and he was really young. It wouldn't have been you, right? I'm like, "No, Dad." And my father goes, "You have exactly 10 seconds to tell me the truth."
Did you ask him if he had cell phone proof?
Yeah.
This was
That's
like
funny.
78.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I need to see a picture before I admit to
I was
that.
so busted out. And I think my old man thought it was funny, but that's, yeah.
You're probably like, fuck Al. What a dick.
Yeah.
He said he wouldn't tell anybody. Now this is what it is. This is what I get.
But what are you going to do at 12 years old? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I mean, you're stuck there, but you're probably like, fuck that guy.
and I mean,
He tries to buy a house nowadays. Fuck him. He's not getting one.
but see, concerts were so, like, I just remember looking down at my ticket. It was like $9.50. And I wanted the $11.50 seat for the Rush show, but they were all sold out. So my mother takes me to this Rush show. My dad wouldn't let me go. I was 13. Wouldn't let me go. If your mother takes you, you can go. I'm like, I want to see Rush. So we're sitting up and we're looking down at the stage, side stage. Seats were okay, but it's fucking Rush, right? I'm losing my mind. Neil Peart's playing. It was the Permanent Waves tour from 80, I think, or maybe Hemispheres, whatever it was. It was 80. Well, I'm sitting there, and my girlfriend went with my girlfriend, me, and my mother. And my mother is like pretty hip, but she
Sounds
didn't
like a
dig
good
Rush. I was only 13. Well, in front of us was a guy with dreadlocks, and I had never seen like Rastafarian unkept dreadlocks before in my life. It was fascinating because he's right there. I'm going, look at that dude's hair. It's like really weird. It's really weird. Well, he lights this bowl, and this pure white smoke comes billowing over his head and into my mother's face.
Oh, God.
And into our face. And I'm like, damn, I wonder if that's marijuana. My mother was higher than a fucking guy. And then this grunge thing where they're not tuning their
Fantastic.
instruments. And I'm like, this isn't what I like. But then STP was to me like a band. There was a singer who was dynamic, and that whole thing about the DeLeo brothers, the brothers, the bass and the guitar, they were in each other's heads. There was just something really cool about that band. Like
Core was one of the first CDs I ever bought.
and that was heavy. But the next one, Purple,
Yeah.
that was a band where the second album not only outsold the first album, but it was fucking way better than the first. They had no was that Sophomore Jinx? That's what it's called. I guess.
Sophomore Jinx.
They
Yeah.
didn't have it. They had the Led Zeppelin effect. That the second one blew the first one away.
What CDs did you
So
what was the first CD you bought?
Now I'm thinking like talking music, and we were talking covers earlier.
Yeah.
And we're talking about like 80s suicidal tendencies.
Oh my god,
yeah.
dude! I remember them.
So,
I remember them.
So Same thing. Ice-T did a cover of... It's going to bug the shit out of me if I can't remember the name of it. It was probably their most popular song, but Ice-T did a cover of it.
Oh, yeah?
I made a music video of it, everything. Like, it was...
Is his name Mike Muir? Was that the singer's name?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to have to figure out the
remember
name of
that
the
band.
song.
I remember that
Suicidal
band.
Tendencies did it, and he did a cover of, like, one of their better...
Did you guys have
I've never seen
albums,
the
or
video.
did you start on CDs when you were
I
younger?
bought albums.
I had albums.
cassette tapes.
Yeah.
No, cassette tapes, yeah.
I had
too.
those too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm more of a cassette tape.
I remember
guy.
like
Shit.
waiting for a song to come on the radio and the stupid
hit
DJ would cut
record.
it off.
Yeah, you're
You
like
hit
hitting-
record and then it cut it off at the end.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
hitting
No, wait a
record
second.
and
I'm
going.
so old where I had a regular tape recorder
Oh yeah.
that, like, you could tape anything, right? And it wasn't stereo. And then I would put it up to the little FM
I know
radio
what
I
you're
had to
talking
record the
Did
Rush
you have a
song.
microphone with your?
Oh, I didn't have one of those. Hell no. I had the J.C. Penney's version. I was lucky to have that. But yeah, but you did buy records. You bought albums.
My brothers
So-
used to buy me albums.
Do you remember going to
Oh
National
my
Record Mart?
gosh.
National Record Mart.
Dude, I was 5 years old. I have older brothers.
Okay.
They bought me the Dirty Deeds album. Oh my God. AC/DC, I was 5 years old. I freaking loved that song. And then me and my friend went upstairs and we were like, we got big balls. And I'm like singing that. I'm like 5, 6 years old. My dad was like, what did you hear that? And he took my AC/DC album and I never saw it again.
Well,
That's what happens when you have like big
they
brothers.
were singing to something called a Dunder Chief in there.
Yeah.
Dirty D's Dun Dirt Chief. I thought it was Dunder Chief.
Oh, God, I
that
love
sounds like.
that
What's a
song.
Dunder Chief?
Dude, we had a pool table in the basement, and I'd hold the pool sticks, and I'd be playing.
So you were
and,
destined
like,
to play an instrument, yeah?
Man, that was my first That was my first album. My brothers bought it for me.
So
And I got it
AC/DC,
taken
what was
off
your
of me.
first album?
Cyndi Lauper.
Oh,
and I
right
still
on.
love
and
her.
she'll admit that. That's pretty
She's awesome. She sings the blues
She is.
now. I love her.
No,
She
and
looks good.
her stuff. I had liked her because it was pop, but you could tell that everything about her was authentic, and she
She's-
proved it later in her career.
She has a great acoustic album out, actually.
I bet.
Amazing.
I remember her and Lou Albano. That's all
Yep.
I remember. This.
From Girls Just Want to Have
Girls
Fun
Just Wanna Have
video.
Fun.
From the video.
I remember I was like 7 years old, and I was like, Dad, can I be in the talent show? And my dad was like, as long as you don't make an ass out of yourself. And it was Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I did a gymnastics thing to it. But
It's
then
so
he
funny.
literally
Did you have the
said
whole
no.
outfit?
No, I was like doing actual because I was a gymnast, so
okay,
like it was
right
like
on.
a gymnastics
But that's
routine.
you use that song.
I used that
It's a good
song, but he
song.
was
I
like,
can
as
see
long
that
as you
for
don't make an
I
ass.
can see that. Your first album
Uh,
that you bought.
the first one that I bought.
Caveat.
somebody bought
I'll come
for
back
you.
to both of you. First album that you bought with your own
Oh,
money.
money.
Oh, damn.
That you
That's
wanted.
hard.
That yeah. That
I was
it
like 6. I don't even think I had my own money.
Well, when you were able to buy your own, that you went out and wanted to get it on. Not that it was delivered by your brothers.
Yeah.
Or
We were already on to cassette tapes when I was using my own
Well,
money.
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't be
took-
an album. It can be a CD,
Okay,
whatever. But when you
okay.
actually had the money, you earned it, and you went out to buy what the F you wanted.
Hey, I took a bus. I took a bus downtown to buy Motley Crue, and I don't remember the name of that. It was with Dr. Feelgood, Kickstart My Heart. Like that was the
It's called Dr.
first.
Feelgood,
Dr.
wasn't it?
Feelgood was the
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
I took a bus to downtown Pittsburgh to get that because I've been such a
Damn.
big Motley Crue fan, like long before that.
Dude, I was
And that
already
was the
wearing
first
a
one.
tie to work every day by then in my life. That's scary.
If I have to wear a
That's
tie
scary.
to work,
I had to at one point in time. All right, what was your first?
not my kind of job.
I don't know. I have to think about that.
Mine was a cassette tape
What was
with
it?
my own money. I was obsessed with The Cure.
Oh my
Huge
god!
Cure fan.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think it was Kiss Me, Kiss Me,
Did
Kiss
Morrissey
Me.
ever get laid? Can someone possibly tell me, did Morrissey ever get laid? Because obviously all he ever wrote about was this angst and the wanting and torture and emotional bag. Did he ever get laid? Because I'm guessing that's all he really needed to have happen to him, and his whole life would have changed.
I don't know. He cried a lot, and I
Then
related to
music
him.
would have changed. So.
I mean, like, now did he come out of the Cure? Was he? What was
No, he was from the Smiths.
The Smiths? That's right. That's right.
Also
that was
awesome.
avant-garde stuff. Now, did you listen to any of Johnny Rotten and Pill?
Yeah.
Public Image Limited? Did you ever listen to that?
I
It didn't
don't
resonate
think
with
so.
you? It's a
I
tough
don't know if
listen,
I've
but
ever
some
heard it.
stuff resonated with me. Some of it did.
I think they showed up on a mixtape or two of mine for my brother.
Yeah, Rise was
Like-
like a.
What was your
remember that
favorite?
one.
Like, what was your favorite band in high school? Like if you could like
In high school?
yeah, like what?
Oh man. Rush was up there, Kiss was up there, Zeppelin was up there.
Yeah, it's funny
I
how
know
that happens.
I'm older. But it was funny. As soon as I graduated high school, MTV exploded, and then you had your R&B and hip hop stuff, and then you had this hair metal thing starting with "Come On Feel the Noise" by Quiet Riot.
MTV Raps and Headbangers Ball, all that stuff. Yeah.
So you had your little segments, but then you had this guy named Prince who kind of flew between the middle and just said "F you" to everybody in their labels. I'm going to be who I am, and no one could pigeonhole him. And what the hell was that? Here's a guy playing rock guitar, but that sounds like it should be this thing called hip hop, right? Or is that disco? Or like, what is that? That's what made it great. You couldn't define the guy.
That's
So
true.
Prince was a big one for me.
Yeah, Prince.
Yeah,
I had that album too.
couldn't say I loved
Purple
it
Rain.
all, but I mean, and when Purple Rain came and it was so big, I was kind of done with them because like Controversy in 1999, I thought were like amazing records, and then everybody found them with Purple Rain. I was like, everybody else, because like when everybody else digs your band, all of a sudden like, I'm done with them now. Like I wanted something that was my own. I don't know why I was wired that way, but I wanted my own thing.
So where do you put, if we're talking about like
Yeah.
great albums, things like that?
Yeah.
The Licensed to Ill, Beastie Boys Licensed to Ill.
Well, it's a
Oh,
powerful,
it's
it's a powerful
amazing.
one, man.
That's
And it really wasn't on my radar as much because I was an adult by then, literally working a regular job. But man, it was how could you not dig that? I mean,
yeah, like
was
from start to finish, just
and it was in a little bit. And you'll laugh, and people don't get this when I say this, but I've said this multiple times. And I believe it. It reminds me a little bit of like the Pistols record. There's elements of that record that reminded me of Nevermind the Bollocks. It just does. I don't know why. The vocals are different, but I don't know. There's just something about the urgency and the angst in that thing.
yeah. So MTV had it as like the #1 party album of all time.
I can
and
see
I was
it.
like, you know what? I could see that. Like top to bottom, that was probably one of the.
But musical tastes are so. I mean, like
Are
I'm
you
all
guys
over
like?
the place.
Me too.
I am
I'm all over the
I am
place.
so
Yeah, that's
all-
great,
like,
though. That's
I was
great.
on my way here.
That's fabulous.
Like I was on my way here, and I went from like Pantera to Taylor Swift to
Love that.
fuck. Edit that out. No.
no way.
No. Shit.
He stuck with that one.
But-
He stuck with that one.
But like literally, like I'm all over the place.
Uh-huh.
But like growing up, like going through high school,
Could have
some
said
of my
Adam
like,
Lambert. That would have been a little worse, but we'll live with that.
I met Taylor Swift once. She was actually really nice.
She
so.
sat in my office.
Yeah, she's just
Before
actually
Mr.
really
Dallas
nice.
went Before
She's
before she was anything.
yeah, it Walter Reed. So she
Yeah.
won me over at Walter
Yeah,
Reed.
I'm sure. She
Is
did
this
the
a
right
HIPAA
thing.
violation?
No.
Oh!
No. So
Great.
she showed
That
up.
is so great.
She showed up and she did her visit, whatnot, and she was getting ready to leave. And two of the girls I were working with were
Her
like,
music does nothing for me though.
"No," but she this is when she was young, and she's like, "No, we got like." They got to go, and two of the girls I worked with were like, we really want a picture with her. Can we take a picture with her?
Yeah.
And her manager was like, we don't have time. We have other things to do. We have to do this. And she was like, I have plenty of time.
Aw,
Let's take a picture.
that's
Yeah.
kind.
So like I didn't get to take a picture with her,
Yeah,
so she's
right on,
great. But
right on.
so that's why I listen to the music. Let's make that clear. That's why I
'Cause she was
listened
so
to
cool.
it because she was so nice. But no, like growing up and getting older, like I went from.
So is Wendy O. Williams,
Yeah. So I went from like the Deftones, like I love the Deftones, to the Wu-Tang Clan,
Right.
to, and I didn't know like this is what
So is that stuff considered rap? Because rap just went like
hip hop.
But
there's
so
some
it's
that's-
hip hop,
Just-
and I felt so old. I did a travel assignment as a nurse, and I went somewhere and I said something about the Wu-Tang Clan, and they were like, "Who?"
yeah, that would be me.
I was like, "Wait a
I
minute."
know who they
Stab
are.
in the heart.
I was like, "Hold a minute."
But I don't think
You
I ever listened to it.
I was like, "You don't know who the Wu-Tang Clan is?" Like,
So what is it? Rap?
they're like, "No."
What is it? What is it?
I don't know. Like what my rap back in the day was like Public Enemy and DOC.
Yeah, like NWA,
Yeah.
Public
Now, I was
Enemy.
never into
No,
NWA, but I like Public Enemy and DOC.
I know.
Yeah, but,
I
like-
crossed from like The Cure to like Dr. Dre.
yeah.
I
Like
had
I'm
the
all
Chronic.
over the
I
place.
like
Chronic-
I had the
everything.
Chronic. I
That's
had
on
That's a
Spotify
great
now.
disc.
I waited for that to come on
I
Spotify.
get
I had
so
Snoop-
good.
I
I was
had
so
Snoop
excited.
Dogg's first too. Actually,
I
now
was
think
so
about it.
excited when the Chronic came on. I literally woke up my wife in the middle of the night and I was like, "Hey, Dr. Dre's Chronic on Spotify, and she's like, "Who?" I was like, "Fucking
I
serious?"
Is that
literally
nothing
have
but a
them.
G thing?
Yeah.
I have them on a playlist
Yeah.
to this day. I run with my Dr.
Isn't
Dre.
that great? Yeah, I mean,
Baby.
if it moves you, and obviously that's the one thing about the human condition that I love is like, and there are people walking this planet, believe me, that just don't dig music.
I
not
can't.
many
I
of-
couldn't get through
There's
life
not
without
many
it.
of them,
I don't
but I'm telling
understand.
you, there
it.
are people that are just, I know people that just music, and I love them. They're good people, but I just like, how is that not possible?
I don't
Couldn't
get
love
it.
them.
So like I remember just really like when I was younger digging disco music, like
Yeah.
And then after I,
Like, give me
became a
examples.
bass
When you
player.
say disco, what do you mean? Give me examples. Who'd
God,
you dig?
Like
The
just
Bee Gees?
Oh well, yeah, like the Bee Gees. I don't
Traveris?
know, like I mean, yeah, the Bee Gees. Anything like disco. I can't
Donna
even think.
Summer?
Oh, I love Donna Summer.
Uh-huh.
And that one girl who plays "Get On Up on the Floor."
Gloria Gaynor?
'Cause we're gonna boogie.
Is that
oogie,
Gloria
oogie.
Gaynor?
No, she plays bass guitar. I don't know who she is, but she's awesome.
Oh man, there's-
Just can't boogie no more. Boogie, boogie on.
that's a good song.
Yeah, like dude, she like
She's the bass player? I
yeah,
gotta look-
dude, she's the
Friends,
bass
if you're
player.
listening to this, look
But
that
the
up.
funny thing is like I didn't know that like disco music was bass driven until I picked up
Oh.
a bass guitar, and I was like, makes sense now. That's why I love bass. Like I love disco
all the
because I love the bass.
I love the corny stuff too. Like I can go deep in the Bee Gees catalog. I just keep my windows rolled up when I'm driving down the road.
Oh, dude, I love
I
the
mean,
Bee
like-
Gees.
but
The
like-
Bee Gees are awesome.
Do I have my kids are like,
Or Frankie Valli and this Grease
I love
soundtrack.
everything.
my
Oh,
kids are
yeah.
like, put the windows down. I was like, no, I don't want the construction workers to hear what we're listening to in here. No, absolutely not. Windows are staying up, kids. Sorry.
I remember I came. My mother reluctantly bought me a Kiss record that came out in 1979, and my friends had told me because they got it a couple days earlier, like, dude, they suck now. I'm like, what are you talking about?
They
Because,
suck.
dude, they don't even play them on WDVE. They just suck. They play
Beth.
disco now. And there was that song "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss. And it was.
On my playlist.
And I'm like, and I've grown to love the song, but the first time I heard it, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh my
I mean,
God.
because Kiss went disco. It was
that's
the thing.
funny.
It was the thing then.
Wow.
Yeah, but see, all that stuff has a place. Like, I mean, I guess I should say,
Well, look at the Rolling Stones. They did disco too.
yeah, that was a good
It's
album.
like what
Black
you
and
had
Blue,
to do.
hot.
You wanted to be like.
I used to know that Stones catalog, and they had that one disco record, that one very disco record in
Yeah.
'76 called. There's a song called "Hot Stuff," and the name of the album was "Black and Blue." And you listen to it, it's almost unlistenable to me now because it's just not the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think think about think about the bands that you loved. If you loved the legacy bands, like that kaleidoscope of how their career traveled. Rush is Rush. It's a certain kind of music. But if you go through their catalog, their cover photos, you can see they were trying to turn. I don't know if it was possible. They were trying to turn Geddy Lee into like a pop singer because he had these like funky haircuts in the '80s, and Neil Peart. They had him, with their cropped hair and in a tail. Remember when guys had their hair like in a tail? And I'm like,
I had that.
like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was like, but it's just funny to see how all those bands tried to figure out what was going on at the time and
And they
kind
were
of blend
better.
in.
They were better when they started.
Yeah,
with
you
their
think?
stuff. Well, like when they really did their true music, rather than
Yeah, I
trying to,
think they all go back to it, but I don't know. Do you think there's still genres of music, or do you think kids today?
I don't
listen
listen.
to what-
I don't listen to today's
listen to what
music
they-
at
Me
all.
either.
Like at
I mean,
all.
there is good new music out, but it's not what the kids are listening to.
I haven't heard
What
it.
are the kids listening to?
I don't know, but it's not good.
Yeah, I haven't heard it. So
I mean, I listen to a lot of folk music,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of good music still out there. You just have to look
You
for
have to
it.
John
hunt it.
Prine.
It's not mainstream. I'm a huge Ray LaMontagne fan. Love him.
That was one of the other ones. John Prine, like one of John
he was a great
Prine's.
songwriter.
Yeah, he was one of the ones I listened to a lot as a kid. Thanks to my dad. Like I would have never picked that up if it wasn't for my dad. I'd never listened to it if it
Do you
wasn't.
think
for
music's going to survive, or do you think music is disposable? And the reason I say that is, we don't want to go down too deep into the business element of music, but it's dead. I mean, there's no real incentive to create new music, even if you're a legacy artist, because none of your fans want to buy it. They want to listen to your old shit. There's no way to monetize it because you have to tour to make money now. When in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, you would tour to support the record sales. It was all
Yeah,
reversed.
that's true. I couldn't imagine being a band from the 70s having to play the same music now, and nobody caring about your new stuff. That would suck.
But if you look, they all
You get
kinda
excited about your new
They
stuff.
all
and-
slowed down, right? But they all slowed down. The Stones are one of the few exceptions of those legacy bands that kept churning out new material on a regular basis. Like,
So
I don't know.
When I lived out west, I saw Garth Brooks in Portland. I drove down to see him because, he's live. He's one of the best.
Well, it's Country Kiss live,
and
right?
he's
It's a
like
big
one of
show.
the best.
Yeah.
So I went down to Portland to see him, and right from the get go, no opener. It was just him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not." He's like, "I'm not messing around with any of the new stuff. I know what people came here for. This is what we're gonna play."
Yeah.
And he went from like his first album to the last one. He was one of the best live performances I've ever seen. He and this is like his, I don't know, it was like his 33rd retirement tour. Like he had already like said, "Hey, I'm retiring and this is gonna be my
A lot
last
of bands
tour."
I know like that.
And he did it again anyways, but I saw him down there and I was like, "Man, this guy's great." Like, and he's playing his old stuff because his new stuff sucks and nobody wants to hear it. And that's what
Does
it is.
it
Like,
suck
so
or
now
Yeah, I just think people don't have the ear for the
Okay,
new
and
stuff.
why
That's
is
what
that?
I think
And
it
why
is.
is that?
They
Because
don't
it's
know
not
it.
being beaten down your throat by the radio. You know?
I don't even listen to the
It's
radio anymore.
unfamiliar.
I haven't listened. Does anyone?
No.
So that's
I can't listen to the radio.
So there's too many
Pandora
commercials.
is what I
There's
listen
too many
to.
commercials. Even I've made a comment on social media the other day. I'm frustrated with talk radio for sports in town. Can't even listen to it because they're trying to cram as many advertisements or reads.
I saw your
as
post on
possible.
that.
But that's
That's-
it. And I got a couple of friends at 93.7 The Fan that privately messaged me and said, "Yeah, we agree with you, but quit fucking saying that."
You're ruining our business. Do you guys listen to new bands, like new
I
music
don't know.
that's
I will
out?
tell you.
I really haven't.
I've tried.
Oh, I really like. Wait, hold on. I gotta think. The Dirty Heads. Have you guys heard the Dirty Heads?
I don't, but-
they're not brand new or anything,
Wait.
but they're pretty awesome.
What's the name of that
They're
band?
called the Dirty Heads. They're friggin'
The
awesome.
Dirty Heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Okay.
They are. Yeah, they're kind of reggae. Yeah,
So
they're pretty cool.
But you explore different genres. Like, I'm a big
Yes,
guitar
I
jazz
love
guy.
Sinatra. Like, I could go from Sinatra to like punk to like
I'm
heavy
kinda
metal to
like
like
that.
I love soul. I love
Right on.
folk. I love rock.
What don't you like?
country.
I was just gonna say it. I didn't want to because there's a difference to me between like old country I
No,
respect
that's very honest.
and pop country. I don't like
I'm
the
not
new
a
pop
fan.
The
country.
new
Country.
stuff's terrible. Garth Brooks,
terrible.
great. Like Garth Brooks,
I'm
great.
not a Garth
Or boy
Brooks
bands.
fan.
Boy bands
But
now.
I
But
like-
the new stuff is
Boy band.
the new stuff's rough.
Thank you.
A lot of the stuff I listen to,
You
people
got
would
the
say
right
it's
stuff.
country, but I wouldn't. Say,
Baby.
I would
Yeah.
consider it folk.
The way
Yeah.
you turn me on.
Boy bands, I missed that whole thing. I had to take my daughter. She
Well,
was, So I went to my daughter when she was way too young, but she wanted to go see this movie with the Jonas Brothers. It was a movie. It was like 09, 08, something like that.
The Purity Ring.
Oh,
Do you have it
on
South Park,
DVD?
South
Park.
Park. Oh my
South
God.
Park.
Gwen was. I can't go there, man. Like Gwen was very young then. But I remember saying to my wife at the time, like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" She goes, "She's like 6." But she. I said, and my wife's like at the time, she's, it's my second wife. She's like, all into the music, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, "You're like 38 years old. You like this shit? Really? Are we here for Gwen? Or are we here for you?"
Probably both.
Yeah.
Oh, that little Jonas boy. He's so cute. Look at him up there.
Oh my God! But I mean, how many boy bands have we survived in our life? New Kids on the Block.
I was never a fan.
Yeah.
New Kids on the Block. Are they still a thing?
I don't know.
I don't think they've been a thing.
When my
since,
friends
like,
were listening to New Kids, I was
Joey.
listening to The Cure and the
Nice.
Smiths.
Joey. My first
What Depeche
concert.
Mode? Did
I
Depeche
love
Mode-
them. I've
Violent
seen them in
Femmes?
concert multiple times.
Violent Femmes were my first concert.
Oh my gosh, I've seen them.
The
I just
Violent
saw them.
Yes.
I saw
yes.
them. Well, right before COVID hit, I saw them at Millville. Actually,
Yeah.
They're still around.
They were
huh?
sold
Yeah.
out, I think, before.
There's some good acoustic
Oh
stuff
man,
on
they
them.
got some good. Yeah, they
They're
got some good
awesome.
stuff.
We had Depeche Mode. That one,
I
that
like Depeche
Violator
Mode.
album, man.
Depeche Mode's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's.
I'll put their album on Pandora and just listen to all the bands that come up. They got some cool stuff.
REM is another one of my favorites.
So you dug that band?
Love
yeah, I
them.
just couldn't stand
REM.
them. I think it's because of my. I think it's because of my age, probably. It just was like.
Well, they were probably big and they were like college bands.
Yeah, he was
Stand in the
whiny
place
though
where
to me.
you
I thought he
live
was.
now.
I don't
That's
know.
a song I
Think
actually.
about
The video of that
direction,
is
wonder.
great.
I love the
See,
video
I
too.
can get into that
See, that's
song.
funny because that's a song I don't really
Of
hear.
course, 'cause that's probably the best commercial song they had, probably.
Automatic for the People is one of my all-time hands-down favorite albums.
Yes, Michael Stipe was his name,
Yeah,
right? I just
yeah,
couldn't.
he's like-
yeah, I couldn't really.
This is him.
Yeah, well, they all got their thing. I get it. It's his thing. I get it. You know, I go back to like.
It reminds me of high school for sure.
Did
I mean, did anybody
Adam
ever listen to
Ant.
Fugazi?
Yeah, I remember
Dude,
them.
Fugazi's like an awesome band. $5
I remember them.
concerts.
I remember
I have
them.
to say they were probably one of my favorite bands. I love
I
every
haven't
single
heard
one of their
anybody mention
songs.
them in a long time.
I wish they were. I wish I could see them again. I would go back in a time. I
Did
loved every
anybody-
single one of their songs.
Good.
So did anybody go to Woodstock 99?
No, but she went 94,
I was
right?
in
Like 94, like
Yeah.
the 99. My dad took my brother and his friends. My
There
dad.
were fires.
Your dad's
I
amazing.
know,
my,
okay.
my dad took
I want to
my
find your
brother-
dad on Tinder because
my
I'm pretty
dad-
sure it would be a match.
She did not just
my
say
my,
That's
my
great.
dad. So my dad took my brother to Woodstock 99, and they not left me behind. I mean, I was
They
like,
left you behind.
Nah, I mean, like I was
Smarting
kind of
about
like,
it, you
I
know,
don't
so-
know if I want to go or not. So
he's not happy about it.
I asked my brother, and they got back, and I was like, hey, I was like, what was, like, you guys went to Woodstock 99. What was it like with Pops there? Like, because we call him Pops. I was like, what was it like with Pops at Woodstock 99? He's like, well, he's like, there was this girl next to us that was taking off her shirt. He's like, and he's like, and Pops put her up on his shoulders. So he's
My
probably-
dad was
he
having
was
the
like-
time of his
was
life.
That's the
like-
great thing about
I guess-
music.
I was like,
this was okay.
I was like, so he probably had a better time than the rest,
Drinking,
like the rest of
smoking.
you guys. So he had a blast. Like apparently, I was like, man, you guys left me behind for that. That's what I missed.
I went to the
They
Division
left you
Bell.
home, buddy.
But he was
Oh,
like,
Floyd.
yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Division
Oh,
Bell concert. It
love
was the
Pink
same
Floyd.
dichotomy. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my friends and I were there. We were like 16 at the time, like smoking marijuana, and this
That was
family next to
93,
this
94, I think.
93, I think.
Mm-hmm.
This family next to us, the mom and the dad, and they had their kids at the Division Bell concert, and we're smoking. They're like, "Can we hit that?" And I was like,
Sure.
"You sure can."
It's a concert. Nobody will know.
Floyd, man, that band transcends time, right? There's like
Absolutely.
Sabbath and Zeppelin and all that stuff, and then you hear Pink Floyd. That's just a whole different thing.
If you hear this whisper, you are dying.
Is there anybody?
You know what? It's I think that for me that when I think of Pink Floyd, I am like emotionally moved. If I've ever been emotionally moved by a song, it is Comfortably Numb.
I love that song.
When I hear
You just
every
wanna
aspect of that,
zone
live
out.
or studio, and I hear the tone of David Gilmour's guitar solo, that just takes me. I mean, I have cried listening to that song because, and I can't tell you why. I just listened to it. It's so fucking beautiful.
So beautiful.
It is. It is, though. I mean,
It is. I
it's
like
got
it
some
too.
kind of reaction.
It's relaxing. That's what I like about it. When I'm in the car by myself.
Yes,
And you just put that on and you're
especially the
like-
live version, it's just so heavy. Like when you listen to it on a big stereo, it's like the weight of thunder just comes on you. Boom.
I bought 3 CDs when I was old enough to go to Coconuts and Robinson and buy my CDs,
Yes.
and it was
Oh my God.
the Stone Temple Pilots
I was also
Core.
in Thai working at a job by then.
I was not.
It was
I
Stone
remember
Temple
doing
Pilots
that.
Core. I bought that Pink Floyd album, Dark Side of the Moon, and I bought Porno for Pyros. Do you
Oh
remember
my
that?
God,
Yes.
I remember that.
Yep.
Was it Camelot before it was Coconuts, or was it
Oh
Coconuts
wait, it was
first?
it was Camelot,
Camelot.
first, I think, and then
I think
it was
Camelot,
Coconuts.
and then turned to
Well, and you could buy used CDs there too. for like $5 or something. People would listen to it, and I knew what they were doing.
Do you
They
guys
were
still
making
have your
tapes.
old CDs? I'm not sure what to do with them. Like
I gave
I
all
don't.
mine
I don't
away.
have that. I hate having stuff laying around.
I gave mine away. A big box of them. I ripped them all. Spent weeks ripping this, like in 2010, 11, 12. Got the whole thing on this big file, uploaded it to Google Play so it was stored there and I could listen to it whenever I wanted. And then they canceled Google Play.
It seems like
They stole my music. Now you can stream only, right? It's like,
Yeah.
hello, I bought that stuff. That was mine.
They just can't.
They canceled Google Play.
do you like Spotify? That's what I use, and you can get whatever you want.
I like
on
Amazon
that.
Music.
But help me understand
I do
something.
Pandora.
So I
We all do
YouTube,
different things.
YouTube
Shit.
Music. I just got Amazon Music
It's the
because
best.
I think it's the best because they also have the highest quality of streaming in terms of like audio fidelity. I've been told, but when you stream and you have a playlist and you get it on demand, can I download the actual MP3 to put it on an MP3 player or on a phone that's not connected to the internet and listen to it? Because if I can't, then I don't own it. So if I have to always have an internet connection to listen to my music, I'm not good with that.
With Amazon, you can
Yeah, with
download
like
it.
Spotify, you can say, "Hey, like I want to save this playlist," and it saves it, and you can listen to
To
it
the
wherever you
phone?
want. Yeah, do your phone. Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, in what format? Is it MP3?
You're speaking Chinese to me, man. I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean,
MP3, I don't know. All I know is it saves it to my
that's not
phone.
a thing. Like,
I haven't heard anyone say it for a long
I
time.
was
You
like,
guys
I
aren't
don't
that
know.
young. You know what MP3 is,
Yeah,
right?
well, I
Because
mean,
AAC was the .AAC was the Apple version of that, and there was
I don't-
FLAC or
I
whatever.
don't even know.
I don't know.
MP3.
All I
I've
know
heard
is
of
like,
MP3.
all I know is if you hit download, it downloads it to your phone, and I can listen to it when we go to the mountains.
Yeah, same with
Like,
Amazon.
I
You can
don't-
do that
yeah,
with
oh, you
Amazon.
can- you can hit
do that.
download.
So
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you
yeah.
own that track?
I
I don't know shit.
I mean,
I don't know.
I didn't sign
think so.
anything,
You're
but
kinda
yeah, I
borrowing it.
Well, I'm just saying.
I didn't write it.
Well,
I didn't sing
8
it.
years ago, if you went on Amazon, you could purchase the music, purchase the digital download version of an album. You own that. It goes to your hard drive. You own the MP3. I'm just asking right now. If I pay $12 a month to Amazon and I download something to my device, do I own it?
Yeah, if you go to Spotify, you can
Yes.
listen to it wherever you want. Yes.
I'd
If
like
there's
to
an internet
answer.
connection.
That was a short answer.
Yes.
Yes. She is right. Yes.
All right. Last question before we wrap this up.
Oh, gosh.
And thank you so much for
I thought
giving
we
me so
talked
much time
about
tonight.
we were talking about forever.
No, we're gonna pass on. We're gonna say
Yes.
that. We're gonna say that for the next round.
Thank heavens.
I'm gonna coerce. This has been such a good time.
Thank
We're gonna coerce the
Thank
three of you
God.
to come back again and keep this
Yes.
group together. Maybe
I
too.
would love this group.
I would love to come
love
back
this
with this
group.
group.
Are you
This
good with
is
that?
yeah, this is awesome. I would love to
For
come
sure.
back.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Shoot
then
me a
we'll talk about
text.
there's a
I'm
music
in.
thing too. But the question I have, which you and for full disclosure, which does go along with the question, the word disclosure, I did let them know what was coming because there was a little apprehension about the show and how it was going to be, and I told them that it would be fine, it was going to flow, and was I right? Yes, validation. I was right.
It's
I
flowed
said
well.
I trusted you.
Yeah, it
did.
flowed
You
well.
did.
This is actually pretty
And
good.
you did. The question is, and they've had time to prepare, so the answer should be rather good and concise.
Oh,
But
snap.
I didn't think of anything. I'm like,
The question is, are we alone?
No. We're not.
I guess we're going left to right.
We
Yes.
are not alone.
Get up to that microphone and tell me why.
I was just gonna say.
Not alone.
Apparently not, Michael. He's apparently alone right now.
Yeah. Thriller. No, I'm kidding. See, that's terrible. Anyway. No.
Did
I
you see
don't
on
know.
Rogan's theory about Michael Jackson? By the way, another aside. Rogan believes that he was castrated by his dad.
And that's why he did what he did.
No, well, that's why he sung so high, had very feminine, he castrated when he was young, because that was a thing. Go back in time and research that in history, certain talented prodigies when they were young were castrated to keep that youthful voice. into their adult years.
How far back do I
That
have
would
to
be
go?
terrible.
And this is
I don't
this
have
is
a
what
time
Joe,
Ancient
machine.
Rome. Ancient Rome.
This
Yeah,
is what
I'm a
Joe Rogan
classics
said.
major. Ancient Rome.
Yeah,
Look
like-
it up, friends. This is my theory. Joe Rogan believes that the old man,
I like
whatever
Joe
his name
Rogan,
was,
but fuck, I have to go like way back in time to
I don't
figure
know.
this
Michael
out.
Jackson's
Michael Jackson's parents.
Yeah, oh, he was-
Joe Rogan said, this is not me saying it. Joe
would
Rogan
be
said that Michael Jackson's
horrible.
parents might have castrated him to keep that effeminate, high octave voice into his adult years. Sounds nuts, but then if you look at how things
Well,
might have
his dad was
transpired in
nuts.
his life, lack of nuts, very good. I missed that rare of my head. But it kind of somewhat might be feasible. If you look at what happened, maybe kind of, sort of. I don't know. Anyways, are we alone?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Why do you feel that way?
I don't know. I mean, God bless my dad. He's gone now. But, I mean, he didn't believe in that stuff. And he literally saw, I don't know if you want to
He
call
saw
it
something?
a flying saucer. My sister,
Right on.
when she was a kid, she saw one too. Like, it's not something that, like, people would just make up. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
my dad totally didn't even believe in that stuff. Plus, now, I don't know. Have you ever watched that show, Paranormal Caught on Camera?
Yes,
Dude, I love that show.
No, I've never seen that show.
Like, they're always spotting stuff. Like, always. Like, I don't know. Like, how could we have this whole universe and be the only people?
I'm kind of
I
right
don't
there
know.
with you.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay, Mr. Military Man. Unleash the secrets.
Yeah.
Oh, look, no one's trusting me with those secrets. No, I don't think so. I don't think that we're alone on this. I mean, the universe is huge, right? So there's no way that we are the only intelligent.
What's
Like,
debatable?
Listen, well, and that's where I'm going with this is, listen, if there is other intelligent life out here, they're not coming they're not coming here. They're not like landing in Eastern PA or
So we're not like a
anything
simulation.
Like that.
This is
they're
all
like,
some-
fuck this place.
Some other
They-
species big joke.
Oh no, they're looking at it like they don't even do math right. Like everyone else is on the metric system. What the fuck is this? Like they're all jacked up.
That's how with that
But,
Dewey Decimal System.
yeah,
anyway.
but like I don't know. It's such a huge universe that to believe that we're the only intelligent life forms on the planet.
So
I don't
you're saying
think
the
so.
probability you
I
guys
think
don't deny.
I think probability. There's no way that we're the only ones out there with this. No one just wants to come here. That's my guess.
It's crazy here.
Yeah,
Crazy,
nobody.
I tell you.
Everybody that's been here is like, "Fuck it, you don't want to go there." It's like a tour guide. They're like, "Yeah,
People down
we've
there
been
can't
there."
get along.
We're
They're
gonna
like,
skip
look,
that
we-
part of the
They're laughing at
tour.
us.
Nobody can get along.
Yeah,
down
they're like,
there.
we've been
Exactly
there.
right.
Let's just pass right over that. We'll go to Mercury. We'll see what that's like. You don't want to
Mars.
go. Yeah, you don't want to go there. And
Well,
then
you.
it appeared.
You know what? I've never put much thought into it. I've just accepted that it's probably real, but I've never had the opportunity to experience it, which pisses me off because why am I not chosen? I should be chosen.
Oh man.
She wants abducted.
I'm
mean-
fun and I want to interact with aliens if they exist.
I mean, how
Much
do
like
we
social
know?
media, when someone unfriends me, I'm taking offense to the fact that aliens haven't reached out to me to anally probe me yet.
Yeah, you're like,
Because I'm worthy.
yeah, you're like,
So
what
what
the
kind
fuck?
of probe did you say?
Don't they anally probe
I mean,
me?
I don't
yeah,
even know they
that's-
do. But like, how do we know they're not
You
from
want
another
them to do
dimension?
it?
Well, I just feel bad that I'm not chosen.
I don't want
Yeah.
you doing that to me.
Yeah.
How come some people get to see them, but I don't?
Yeah,
That's
you
not
weren't
fair.
you weren't picked.
Well, you might not.
Why was I not
They
picked?
can probably
Not the
only
chosen
probe
one.
you where you wouldn't actually see them.
I mean, maybe they're trying to Facebook friend us under the name of some like foreign person. That's how they're reaching out to us,
Yeah,
and we're
not
just
today,
The
ISIS.
guy from Romania.
Yeah, not today, ISIS. Not gonna happen today, ISIS. I've gotten so many of those where it's like,
They have
this
the
is
ghost account on
yeah,
Twitter.
you're like, this is real. Like literally, it's like a huge cleavage, everything else, and it's like, it's
You
like
don't believe a
Muhammad
Russian
this.
dentist?
Fucking with you, Dave.
It's like Muhammad
fucking with
this. So we're gonna be friends with you, and I was like, no, they don't.
you don't want to
You're-
friend a Russian dentist.
Yeah,
When-
no.
What dental
I
school
know,
did she
I
go
know better.
to?
Yeah, I'm like, where was that at?
Have you been to Midland, PA?
Yeah, I haven't. Midland.
Have you been to
PA.
Midland? Have you?
Yeah, it creeps me out because the
Midland is proof that we are not alone. That's it. I don't think I absolutely believe wholeheartedly. Not only are we not alone, I am convinced that something has been here. It may be a probe. It might not be, but there's
Not really. There's probably not a probe in here. No,
I mean,
they were gonna
there's too many weird shit going on. The government's now releasing video of all these things, and like,
which is
there's
why you don't
cow
believe it.
mutilations.
If the government's
there's
releasing it, you don't
crop
believe it. Believe me.
crop circles, cow mutilations.
What are those things that they're
dogs
finding?
and cats living together.
Those metal,
What's next?
Ma-
I mean, really.
mass chaos. Yeah,
those
dogs and
metal
cats
things
living
they're
together.
finding.
Obelix.
Yeah,
Obelix? What
they're
do they call it?
finding
Obelisk.
those.
Wait, I'm a classics major. Let me handle this.
Okay. what is that particular structure?
Obelisk.
And that was very. And what movie historically was that a big part of the movie?
Oh, I didn't watch movies.
I don't know.
Ghostbusters? What are we talking about here?
That was actually a pretty good guess.
Yeah, I mean,
What is it?
I don't know. I thought it was Ghostbusters. I'm wrong.
Think about it. Stanley Kubrick, 1969.
69.
I don't know that. That's past. That's way before my time.
Kubrick, 69. What? Wait. We're talking
a
about
bad
Kubrick.
visual.
No. We're talking about Kubrick.
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, no. We're talking about Kubrick in 69. Like,
That's a bad visual.
Clockwork
Yeah.
Orange?
That's a good guess. My favorite movie, by the way.
69.
That's a weird movie.
That is a weird movie.
1969.
Full Metal
Space-
Jacket.
No, that's a good
Shit.
guess.
That's way later.
2001,
Damn.
The Space Odyssey.
No, sorry.
The obelisk comes down. Obelisk. I can't pronounce it. Obelisk.
I got
obelisk.
you.
Obelisk. Whatever. How you pronounce that?
Obelisk.
Obelisk. Obelisk. It's like, that's the thing. It appears with the caveman days on Earth, and then it appears later at the end of the movie when the creature lives out its, and it gets reborn. I don't know how it ends. It's just weird and quirky, but that's the whole essence of that. And then Led Zeppelin made that the cover of the President's album.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the covers. I don't what the
You ever seen-
pictures look like.
Wants to do a
You ever
music
seen-
I don't know. I just know what I like. Ask me a name of a song. I don't know. Ask me who's.
There wasn't much on that record anyway,
Yeah.
so it was
ever
their worst
seen-
effort.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, it's one
There
of
you
my
go.
favorite movies
There you
ever.
go. Yeah,
That
there you
is
go.
a great movie.
That's
And
the good end of the
Simon
world.
Pegg,
like,
right? He's
yeah,
unbelievable.
He's fantastic.
He
That's
is
a great
amazing.
end of the world.
He was in a movie called with the little alien guy. What was it called?
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. But he was great in Shaun of the Dead. Like,
Well, his
that was
sidekick was
fantastic.
also great in that too. The guy that played the
the
heavyset cop, the goofy heavyset young.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Hot
don't remember
Fuzz.
his name. Yeah, I don't remember
Oh wait,
his
that's Hot
name.
Fuzz.
That's
I'm
Hot
thinking
Fuzz.
about.
Yeah.
But it was the same guy, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
Probably,
It's
like,
the same guy.
dude.
So
Yeah.
I'm making I'm amalgamation of Simon Pegg movies.
I mean, they
there.
were essentially the same movie, but different settings.
Did y'all have fun?
Yes.
Always.
I had a blast. This is a good group. This is a crazy group. I really appreciate you doing this.
Loud and crazy girl.
Yeah, we are.
High five.
High five. High five. High five. No bad gestures in here.
Nope, no bad gesture.
We all have hand. Hand, I say. All right, until we meet again, I want to thank you all very much again.
Oh, you did the same thing.
I'm kind of glad I didn't mention the hands during the podcast because, as I can see, that might have been a little bit of trouble. All right, friends, we are out.
Nighty night.
Good night.
Don't let the bed
Peace.
bugs bite.
Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.